Blaney had to move out of the way.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to SRW Sim Racing World's SimRigs V8 Supercars Am series here tonight. Sponsored by Warren & Brown Tools. This is round 4 coming to you from the wonderful Suzuka International Racing Circuit. 5.75 kilometers off incredible tarmac, undulating and curving its way around this part of the lovely country of Japan. I am Thomas Riley. I'll be known as Preach for most of the night. Joining me tonight is Nathan ShiBBy Howard in the broadcast booth. ShiBBy, how are you, mate?
Good, mate. Bit rushed, but the broadcast is up and running, so we're good to go.
That's the main thing. For all those who have watched along at home over the last couple of weeks, a little bit of a change. I'm taking more of the anchor role tonight. ShiBBy will do his bit in the background, monitoring all the levels and making sure we get as many battles as we can on broadcast. Last week we had so many incredible battles around Daytona, Draft City. That won't be as much of an impact here tonight. This is a incredible track. The cars are heading out for qualifying. Just seeing the cars coming through 130R up to the Casio Triangle now to start their lap. Everyone a little bit bunched up at the moment, but that's okay. They've got plenty of chances to get some good lap times in. I'm just bringing up my live timing now so I can tell you exactly what's going on screen.
So I think most of the guys are on an out lap at the moment, so we're not missing too much. Just getting those tyres and brakes all warmed up, ready to kick in a fast lap.
Travis Daly is the lead car coming up to the super tight first gear hairpin. Now on the run up to the spoon curve. I'm trying to remember all the corner names because it's been a while since I've done anything at Suzuka. I know 130R, I know Casio Triangle, and I know the S's. I'm just trying to get all the names in my head.
You're doing better than me, mate, because it's usually turn 1, turn 2, turn 3.
The biggest issue is that all the corners sort of morph into one, especially through the S's, and you know, it's not an easy set of corners to try and make maximum lap time out of. You never want to run all the way out to the exit coming out of any of the corners in the S's itself. Tim Nicol is setting some of the fastest sectors we've seen on these first laps, so he should jump to the top. He's been quick throughout the whole series so far. We've seen, I think he won at Sebring. But we have seen some. He's very good in qualifying trim. Of course, tonight 25 minutes of qualifying followed by a top 10 shootout, and then we go into a 60-minute race, being the more standard format rather than a sprint format. Given last week we had the 20-minute race and the 40-minute race to follow without the top 10 shootout. We have quite a number of cars on track at the moment. What have we got? I'd say almost 15, 16 cars tonight. See Tim Nicol lose the rear a little bit there, coming through the S's.
Good couple of personal bests starting to happen now, as we should probably switch to best time during qualifying. And as we see Mr. Tim Nichols up there with a 202.132. Joe Mahoney just squeezed into second, knocking Travis Daly down to third. Rick Vigor is holding 4th. Petar Pavlovich in 5th. Scott Weston 6th. Bradley Clayton 7th. And Brett Taylor 8th. Still a lot of times to come through, so we'll be keeping an eye on that timing table down the bottom. If you are new to racing, green is a personal best and orange is an average sector. Not great, not bad. And a purple is best sector of the session, so keep an eye out for those purples. Bradley Wall, who we're on board with now for Team SRW Motorsports, was looking like he was on a good lap and then just sort of didn't get the lap in.
Yeah, on his last one, I think I did see an off-track pop up next to his name when I joined the live timing timetable here. This is Rick Vigor, who I think joined us last week. I'm not sure if he joined the week before, but was definitely there last week. Had an interesting strategy in the second of the 2 races, the 40-minute race. Managed to get himself a fairly good result. In my head, I was thinking he was driver of the day after the 2. I can't even remember what team it was now. That's really poor of me. Yeah, our winners from last week. Jeez, it's just been a blur this last week, I'll tell you what. Yeah, did well last week, Rick Vigor. Tim Nichols still on top there with a 2-minute 2.13. So yeah, so I think we might end up seeing, I think if we see a 2 flat, that'll be the sort of pace that we're expecting. 2 minutes 2 out of the gate is pretty rapid. Bradley Wall does jump himself up into 5th there on a 2-minute 4.08. Just in front of Petar Pavlovich.
Good time there. Hopefully gets a bit settled in with the car tonight. Unfortunately, one of the Team SRW Motorsports drivers, Dan Schultz, was actually hit by a car today. Nothing broken. He's okay. He is resting, some cuts and bruises, but is not sure if he's going to be in the comms box as a spotter tonight, as Brad throws a huge big slide.
Oh, and does collect the wall. It doesn't matter, those tyres were going to be flat spotted. Would have been very quite overheated, so it would have been difficult. We saw the 2 Pecky's performance cars coming around through Dunlop. There we go. I'm remembering corner names now.
Marty Hansen here on 3 personal bests. Didn't have the greatest start of this lap, but trying to do his best to get that time back in. See if he can actually improve from 11th. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, tonight is another top 10 shootout, so the top 10 best of the qualifying session will go straight through to the top 10 shootout. Marty Hansen did. He actually managed to move up into 9th place. Scott Weston on a good one. Any improvement for him? Doesn't look like it.
I think he did improve, but not enough to jump himself up any positions. A bit of a gap in between Petar Pavlovich and Marty Hansen to sort of slot himself into 2-minute 4.0 or 2-minute 4.1 and then a 2-minute 4.9, sort of in that 8/10 gap there. So a little bit of margin for him to slot himself into. Troy Sipple jumps up into 5th place there on a 3.5, closer to a 3.6, but we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. It's kind of like, I prefer to give the lower 2-minute 3.5 rather than 2-minute 3.6 when you've got 5.95. It's sort of like when you're playing cricket and someone asks you, how'd you go today? And you say, I scored 40 odd when really you scored 25. That's sort of the vibe that I get from that, sort of pumpy. Let's just hide the fact that they were closer to a 2-minute 4.6 than a 2-minute 3.6 rather than a 2-minute 3.5, given the margins are so close as they are anyway. I thought that was going to sound a lot better when it came out, but that sort of just, I rambled a bit. Just lose the rear off the curb there. and says hello to the inside tyre wall out of the first corner. Petar Pavlovic, I think he's about to start a lap. Yes, I think he's about to start a lap. So,
I think
see how much exit curb they use.
Yeah, they're hitting the curbs really hard. Just looking at last week's results. So it was Adam Hughes from Crisscross Racing and Jake Edwards that took out.
I don't see them on our list tonight.
No, I don't see them out there either. Who else I don't see out there? Little junior Ty Delaney had an absolute cracker in the Pro-Ams and took out third place.
Yes, well, he's backed himself up. That's what happened there. He backed up from AMS. And, I mean, last night, Sunday night, gee whiz. What happened with the 3 cars in the lead? And then
the old Bradbury.
Bradbury's it. Gee whiz.
And I don't know if I'd call it a Bradbury. I feel like in a way it was a well-earned win. It's not like he's, was last the whole race and all of a sudden made it through to first. He fought his way up into 5th place.
This is true, but there were also only six skaters in the Bradbury race.
That's true, there was, yeah.
When you think about it in the sense that, Zach had basically said, unless they all crash, I'm not going to win.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go for it because, it's Daytona. There's not a whole lot of benefit in going for a move early on. A little bit of pixelation on the stream here, so I'm doing what I can for you. I believe is this Brett Taylor we're on screen with? Yes, I think
it is, mate. Yep.
Yes. Heads down to the start finish line, jumps up 2 spots into 9th. Petar Pavlovic just in front of him by a quarter of a second. What have we got? We're about halfway through this qualifying session now, so I'm not seeing too much action on the timing sheets. Everyone sort of has done their best lap on their last lap. So I'd expect them to continue to improve as we go on. One thing that drivers will have to be wary of tonight is, of course, there will be a requirement for at least 1 stop, maybe even 2, depending on fuel load. And we normally see it about the 18 to 20 minute mark. So when that first stop comes, that's obviously for a fairly consistent green flag race. Break it up into 3 parts, 3 stints. I wonder if we'll see anyone do anything different tonight. Are we going to see chaos into turn 1, given it's Suzuka? Are we going to see more chaos into 130R, where someone gets wide? Who knows? The 2 Pecky's cars here. Up into Spoon Curve.
So I haven't got the season standings built into the stream tonight due to... I thought there was going to be no broadcast due to some computer issues, which I managed to get fixed right at the last minute. But at the moment, sitting in P1 after 3 rounds is Joe Mahoney for Race on Oz with 480 points. Tim Nicol is in second.
Put him there.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, Mahoney's
a whole bunch of consistency, and he's been quick every week. And I think that P1 result, that win, is just eluding him at the moment. So I'm sure he'll be.
He's not out here either. Oh wait, he is.
Yes, he is.
There he is.
Third.
There he is.
Through the second deck, no?
I thought it just
Joe
came in.
Mahoney. Oh, the little cutie.
Whoops. I forgot to mute my mic there. My daughter came in to say goodnight. She's wearing this cute little bear onesie, so...
Oh.
Oh, it's a bunny, is it, Alan? I'm sorry. Has bunny ears? Anyway, back to the standings. Good night, darling. Give me a cuddle. Quick. Give me a cuddle, bro. All right, back to the standings. So Joel has Joe Mahoney is cracking around again. On some more purple sectors. He wants to hit that.
That he is.
Yeah, the little cutie. Oh, no.
Oh, what the moment. Oh, dear, how many of those are we going to see tonight?
He heard me call him a little cutie, and he got a little blushed and
that's exactly
flustered.
what happened.
Yeah.
Yes.
So 19 points behind Joe Mahoney is Tim Nicol from Quantum Pecky's Performance Racing. Super close on the points there. Third place, Bradley Wall, Team SR Motorsports on 435, only 45 points behind. In fourth place, Petar Pavlovich for Century Motorsport Racing, 424 points. Again, only 56 points from the leader. Travis Daly sits in fifth for Performance Sim Racing on 412 points. Scotty Van Loon for Quantum Pecky's Performance Racing, 406 points. Brett Taylor for Valve Motorsport, 378. Andrew Cowan for Performance Sim Racing, 329. Callan Hodgkinson, 319. And Adam Hughes at 286. So you can just hear through the initial 10 how close this racing has been this season already.
Yeah, super close. It's it really just pays. Really just shows what these guys are trying to do and how they're trying to perform out here. That's not how you take second Degner there. That's a big off.
It is if you're Steve Sinkovich, but that wasn't Steve, so.
Well.
Oh, here we go. Late entry, Callan Hodgkinson from Crisscross Racing. Our winner, second place last week.
Yes.
Is now on track. He sits. Where is he? So he is in 9th at the moment. 9th and 10th for the two Crisscross Racing boys, sitting on the ladder at the moment after 3 rounds.
Wow. A 6-4 for him puts him last of the drivers to set a time so far. So I'd be expecting him to improve. Cowie here sitting in 5th place. I'm just keeping my eye on Petar Pavlovich with 3 greens there. And then 3 personal bests, and then as you said, an average sector. I will just say a clean sector, potentially. I don't know what you want to call it. I wouldn't call it average because it might be, it might only be 1.
Yeah, it's not your greatest
off
sector.
His best time, but yeah, it's we'll just say he's got 3 greens at the moment. Is he going to improve as he comes across the line here? Another green pops in. He does jump up 1 spot, finds himself 5/10.
Yeah, nice.
Himself into 6th place there.
Although this is all going to change because it may not even be this outcome with the top 10 shootout tonight. So I am looking forward to it. Have you we've had 2 weeks of sprint racing. So sprint racing is a bunch of fun, but definitely have missed those top 10 shootouts.
Yeah, I think it means more when you've got a bigger grid like we've been seeing over the last couple of weeks. It sort of makes the top 10 more of a cutthroat, get into the top 10, rather than it be sort of, the 10 guys, they just get sort of, they qualify and then they get there 1 lap, like we had at Spa to start the season, where I can't remember who it was who spun early, I can't remember the name, spun on his top 10 lap. Saved it, didn't get the 2x for loss of control. This was through the bus stop chicane, spun and then got all the way around the lap and had been valid. And yes, he was 2-3 seconds off, but still put it in 7th because it's Spa and off tracks. So, I feel like now it really is cutthroat because you really want to be at the top. You don't want to be battling with all the cars. You don't want to be 10th right in the mid-pack rather than, be 10th and have the options of potential clear track behind you when you go through pit stops, which is something that we're going to have to consider. It's a bit more tyre usage than we had at Daytona, so lots of turning and around here and quite high load corners. So, yes. Is that Scotty Rattler Van Loon popping into chat there? G'day, fellas. Just flew back in from Brizzy to Perth. Or from Brizzy to Perth, and the 6-hour flight killed me. I bet, mate. That sounds kind of like hell. But unfortunately, you're not on the grid, mate. But we will hope to see you next week, and I hope you're enjoying the stream. And yes, go the Pecky's Performance Racing. I think that's how you say it, isn't it?
Quantum Pecky's Performance Racing. It's
Quantum
a tongue
Pecky's
twister,
Performance
mate.
Racing.
Yeah. Say it 3 times fast. Like.
Yes. I was about to call Quackies because I just saw QPPR and I went Quackies for some reason, but it's Quantum Peckies. So my apologies.
So we know the Rattler will get a good laugh out of it.
Well, he is. He's got. He's said he is laughing in emoji form. What have we got? We've only got 3 and a bit minutes left in qualifying here. So, really, it's crossed the line now or risk not getting a lap in to finish, because I think... I'm not sure if this carries over on.
It does.
Not.
Yeah, being a non-sprint round, once the time clicks over 25, if you are still out on track and have crossed the finish line, you will get that last lap in. Yep.
Yep. Okay, so you have time to set a lap, but everyone who's sort of who has started a lap now will have their chance at 2 laps. So imagine there are quite a few cars in pit lane, including Tim Nicol, Cowie, Travis Daly, Petar Pavlovich, Scott Weston, Bradley Wall, Brett Taylor, Bradley John Clayton, Mark Peck, to name all of them who are in pits. Oh no, I say that Andrew Cowan's just come out of pits, so they'll all be looking to get around to start their laps. 2-minute lap time here, pretty long to get around. Troy Sipple up in behind Rick Vigor at the moment.
It's Scott Perrins and Marty Hansen lighting up the times with personal best. I think they're putting
I like Scott Perrins. He runs 888. I like him already. That's my personal number. So
can he get above 15th? I think he's had a 1X. That actually did not register. Unfortunately, good thing is he will get another lap in. Marty Hansen on some personal best here as well.
He's on an out lap though, so
he's too. I can read that. Look, it says that.
I wouldn't consider them exact. Scott Perez has another off track there, so he will get a run. I don't think he'll get around. So that might be him done. And I think he has teleported back to pits. So he's decided that'll do with the off track there. So what are we looking at? So Troy Sipple's got a purple in that 4th sector and a green in the 5th, and as long as 2 greens in the 1st and 2nd. So we're 130R now up to the Casio Triangle. You're starting to turn right as you're starting to trail off the brake. You're going to make sure the car is stopped. It's the car around the last corner. What does that do for him? He jumps him up into 5th place. Just above Travis Daly, so I think that's a gain of 2 spots.
So Marty Hansen just got knocked out of the top 10 shootout as well with that.
Oh, jeez. So, who are we looking at? So Cowie here, I think he's about to come across to start his final flying lap. He's timed this absolutely perfectly, to be honest, though. He's going to cross the line with about 10, 9, 8 seconds to go to start his lap. So we will watch on intently here. Got Marty Hansen, 126 coming through. Spoon up the backstretch now to 130R. He's got a green in that 4th sector.
So this lap will count for Andrew Cowan. See the other corner has set a very, it's not average. Average is the wrong word for the orange.
Marty Hansen here. Has he found any time to boost himself into the top 10? Needs to find half a tenth or more. And he has. He's put himself into 10th place, relegates Brett Taylor out of the 10.
Wow.
Clutch lap there from Marty Hansen. Keeping our eye on Cowie here. He's done 2 green sectors. This will not affect who's in the 10, but it will affect where everyone goes out. Marty Hansen is the 10th place car. Steven Sinkovic could improve, though. He's got to find almost 2 seconds of time, though, and he hasn't set any greens yet. Cowie through Spoon. Runs the car nice and wide on the exit. Still valid. Run up to 130R now. Gets car to dip, gets the nose in. Doesn't use the exit curve, gets car hard across to the right early. Left-hand side, sorry. Gets on the brakes. Lots of inside curb. Still valid, still valid. Comes down now through the final corner. Onto the main straight. What has it done for him? Up to second spot.
Wow.
Finds a huge chunk of time. Almost half a second, I think. He's put himself into P2, really showing his speed. Let's see what Steven can do here. He's going to improve. There's been no greens. Does not improve. I don't think that might have been invalid anyway. So that is checkered flag on qualifying.
And this qualifying session is thanks to Racecraft. So this was your Racecraft qualifying session, and Tim Nicol will take out the Racecraft qualifying session's fastest lap with a 2:02.13.
A provisional pole for Tim Nicol. Cowie, as we said, he pushed himself up in a P2 clutch at the end. Rick Vigor in P3, Joe Mahoney, Troy Sipple, Travis Daly, Padar Pavlovich, Scott Weston, Bradley Wall, and who could be more clutch than Marty Hansen putting himself into the 10 on his final lap there. So he will be first one out in the top 10 shootout. We will shortly go to an ad break, but if we have the interim results at all, we can go through the back half of the 10. So we can back half of the grid. So missing out on the top 10, Brett Taylor, who was pushed out by Marty Hansen at the end there. Bradley Clayton, which Ed Hayden is in chat shouting out Wolfie for his first run in the SWM series. Just missed out on the 10, mate. So was very close. You might have to read the rest there, ShiBBy.
Oh, yep. Sorry, I don't have it up on my screen either because I'm still down a screen. So, right. So, yeah, Brett Taylor 11th, Bradley Clayton 12th, Callan Hodgkinson, after a great run last week, in 13th. Really didn't get out there and do much practice. Was a late registry. Mark Peck in 14th, Scott Perrins 15th, Steven Sinkovic in 16th, and Mark Turner 17th, Travis Nielsen 18th, and Tyson McAvoy is your race steward tonight. We will be jumping to a really quick ad, so we do have to jump over to the top 10 shootout server. If you have been enjoying the simrigs.com V8 Supercars Am series, don't forget to hit that like button and shout out who you are rooting for out here tonight. Thank you to Warren and Brown Tools for round 4 I totally forgot where we're at. Suzuka West. Oh my gosh, it's been a crazy afternoon, mate. Finish work, turn computer on.
It is
computer,
the full Suzuka Grand Prix layout.
It's the GP layout. It must be the 86s that are doing West then.
West is the one where you do the S's and then cut down. So yeah, I think so. Or I can't remember if that's West or East. Anyway, they're doing half the track basically.
Yep.
But
anyway,
yes,
we're going to run to a quick ad, and we will be right back with your simrigs.com V8 Supercars Amateur Series here for your top 10 shootout.
Roger. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for our top 10 shootout, sponsored by Racecraft Simulations this evening. As we said before, we are at Suzuka. Drivers are just getting the final end of their driver's briefing at the moment from our race control. And then we will skip ahead a session to the shootout once that's done. Tonight, we will have the drivers coming across into the broadcast booth at the end of their laps before the next driver starts. So if you do have any questions throughout their lap, if you want me or ShiBBy to ask them, ShiBBy or I, my English is horrible tonight, put them in the chat and we will endeavour to ask them at the end of their lap. Round sponsor tonight is Warren and Brown Tools. Go ahead, ShiBBy.
No, I didn't have my mic on, so it wouldn't have mattered. We won't have too much time during the intervals, only about 30 seconds to a minute to get these questions to these drivers. So essentially, we're only going to pick the first question put in chat per driver, And that is the question we will ask them. And then
Please
we will
keep
have
it
to
PG.
Otherwise, keep it PG.
It will not
Yep.
be read. We will skip it.
Yeah, you can also get stream mutes. I am very quick on the finger trigger here, so let's get some good questions for these drivers tonight. Get them pumped up for the race. But we will get those questions out and then jump straight on to the next car as these top 10s do run through quickly. If you don't know what a top 10 shootout is, each car being 10 of, which are your top 10 from the qualifying session, will get one warm-up lap and then only one lap to set the fastest time they possibly can. Any 1Xs will completely null and void that lap, and they will start in 10th position on the grid for our 60-minute race tonight.
So important for all these drivers to keep that in mind. The benefit is that they're only going to start from the lowest is 10th. So there's not too much penalty for that. But it won't be ideal to be starting in 10th place. We will see how strategy plays out. We'll keep our eye on safety car tonight. We'll keep our eye on strategy. ShiBBy will do his best to look at what's going on in pit lane where possible. But we will do our best to bring you as much information as possible. First car is just firing up now.
Marty Hansen.
To exit the pit. Marty Hansen, who got himself in with a clutch lap at the end. Rolling to the end of pit lane now.
Few new drivers to the top 10 here too. So this is the first season, the V8, the simrigs.com V8 Supercars Amateur Series has actually had their own top 10 series. So I bet there's probably a bit of nerves out there because I think I can see about 4 or 5 new drivers to the top 10 shootout as Marty Hansen leaves for his out lap. I do believe Marty Hansen might be one of those that haven't sat in a top 10. I haven't seen
his name in a top 10, but I did miss the race at... no, I saw both of our standard format races. It started off at Spa and then went to Sebring. Then we've been to aka Virginia International Raceway. One of those tracks that I'm glad has become free on the iRacing platform. Very keen to see what comes. I do believe we might be getting Willow Springs in the next season update, which is only a couple of weeks away now. Of course, this weekend is the Nürburgring 24 special event on iRacing. So I'm sure some of these drivers might be involved in that, doing crazy amounts of practice around the green hell that is the Nordschleife. Marty Hansen in his Hypan Esports car here, just on his warm-up lap. Blacktown Mazda plastered on the side. It's a smart-looking car. Definitely a smart-looking car for V8 supercar styling.
It's a good-looking car. I like the way they've done their main sponsor being Blacktown Mazda. Massive big white and black letters, shows up superbly. Great example of how to flash your sponsors around to the broadcast.
Here we go through the Casio triangle, getting himself set. Stays just about right of the middle of the track, a half a car's width off the centre line of the track there. Starts his lap nice and early. Here we go. In sixth gear, almost. Yeah, he's hit the rev lights, the rev limiter on the brakes into turn one. Difficult corner. It gets it down to third gear. Then I think they'll be taking second, short shifting third on the exit. Yep. And then fourth as they start the run through the S's, third gear. Yep, just keeping it in third, letting the car run up through to the rev limiter and then back down again. Up to Dunlop now. Difficult corner. You want to tuck it in early and then run yourself out. Don't use too much of the track on the exit because you'll get sucked into that exit curve and you'll be off hard and fast. Through the Degners now. Little kink down into 1. And then down into Degner 2. Use the inside curve. Use that apron. Nice and clean. Run under the overpass. Up to the hairpin now. Another difficult corner to get right in these cars. No ABS, no traction control. Doing well. I think short shift second there through the hairpin as well. First for the rotation, short shift second on the exit. Now up to spoon curve. Looks nice and stable under brakes. Carries good mid-corner speed. Doesn't get all the way out on the exit. And down now, down this back stretch, which I think if you're running the east layout, does have pit lane as it goes over the pit boxes there. Up to 130R, fastest corner of the track. Nicely done. Casio triangle now for the last time. Oh, I was going to say he's locked a brake, but then I was thinking I was doing a Latifi in my head and taking the wrong chicane. If you know, you know.
God, left instead of right, mate.
No, Latifi took the early chicane. He's done a 2-minute 3.9, which I'm pretty sure was faster than his time to get into the top 10. So that's a good improvement. As we get Marty into the booth now, mate. What do you reckon about that lap?
Yeah, no, I was happy with it. It felt a bit slippery at certain times, but no, overall happy.
Yeah, I think that was an improvement on your best lap time to get you into the top 10. That lap that you said at the end of qualifying was clutch, to say the least, to just put yourself right on 10th place. So well done on that, mate. What's your plans for the race? Just keep it nice and clean and see what happens?
Yeah, keep it nice and clean and just try and save the tyres where I can, and we'll see how we go.
Yeah, nice one, mate. Go well, enjoy it, and we will catch you hopefully on the podium at the end.
Thanks very much, guys.
Have a good one, buddy.
Alrighty, Bradley Wall now for Team SRW Motorsport. Just the line here to start his lap. On board on the hamburger cam. A lot more of that exit curve through turn 1. Up on the curve for turn 2. Into the S's now. Bit of curve there. Bit of curve there. Runs the car just about a third of the way towards the way in from the left side. You can see it. I don't need to explain it too much. Run up now to Dunlop. Yeah, comes out a little bit wider, tucks it back in the second part of the corner, up to Degner now on the brakes. Lots of inside curb there. Does the same thing here. Doesn't use as much inside curb as you probably would have hoped. A little bit fishtailing on the exit, on the run up now to the hairpin. Dab of brakes to get the car to rotate. Keeps the car nicely to the right-hand side of the track. Opens up that corner. Probably half a car's width, maybe even a full car width off the apex of the hairpin there, but that's all right. Carry a little bit more speed through. Car definitely looks a little bit skatey on the rear. Wonder if he's running a click less rear wing to get the car a little bit more higher speed. Try and capitalise. He's only got the one purple sector so far. You might see some orange sectors pop up for drivers who are on their hot lap. That will be based on the sector time that they did on their out lap, which we'll just need to keep in mind. 130R now, a little dab of brake, get the car to turn in. Just runs it out to the exit curb. SO triangle now, difficult because the corner sort of opens up away from you through the last part of your stop. Runs the car out wide. Let's cut it back down. And it is good enough for only P2. He's almost a 10th and a half away from Marty Hansen.
It looks so smooth.
It did look smooth, but I suspect maybe the hairpin might have undone him there. Brad, mate. Just missed out on pipping Marty Hansen. Car looked a little bit rear happy. Did you take any wing out, or was that just how you drive it?
It's just how I'm driving it at the moment. I haven't had much time in it this week, so yeah, I'm hanging on.
Yeah, it looked like you just ran a little bit deep into the hairpin. Do you think that's where you lost most of your time, or was it more just spread out throughout the lap in some stages?
Oh, the hairpin definitely hurt, but I was losing time in a couple of corners there. So once I got to that hairpin, it was just trying to maintain my pace. Then I stopped pushing.
Yeah, there was still a couple of purple sectors there, so you definitely got the pace over Marty throughout the race. Is your plan just to see what happens and see where you end up, or you're going to be a little bit more aggressive to get your way forward?
Yeah, same as every week. Just try and keep it clean and see where I end up.
Easy, mate. Go well. Good luck. We might see you at the end.
Thanks, guys. Have a good call.
Lock up there from Scott Weston into turn one. We'll see what this happens with his lap times. Blacktown Mazda also on the bonnet of this car, but not using black as much as we saw on Marty Hansen's car. Still looks nice. GMK Logistics plastered on the side of it. Green through the first sector. He's probably just a little bit further away on the entrance to the exit of the S's, transition to Dunlop there, but does get himself a purple second sector. Lots of inside curb through Degner 1. How much does he use through Degner 2? Just sits it up on the red and white ripple strip. Doesn't use any of the painted AstroTurf on the inside. Double brake, just try and control the car. Gets it pulled up nicely. Oh, probably uses a little bit of the inside curve that he didn't want to use. Still purple in that next sector. Just chasing the rear of the car a bit through here. The car really wants to over-rotate on you. Only green through the fourth sector. Lots of inside curb through Spoon. Trails it into second part of Spoon. Chases the rear a little bit. Car looks a little bit of a handful, but not it's not too much opposite lock that we're seeing here. Coming up to 130R now. Mustang is maxed out on top of sixth gear. Double brake, shifts it down to fifth. Oh, he's just chasing the rear a bit. Had to go deep. That'll hurt his run onto the main straight here. Like he pinched the rears, a little bit of opposite lock right at the critical stage of that braking application. Has he done enough to put himself up? No. Just under a tenth and a half away from Bradley Wall as well. Scotty, mate, looked like a bit of a handful into the Casio triangle.
Yeah, it wasn't great there. I outbraked myself a little. Thought I had plenty in it, but obviously not.
Yeah, it looked like it was a little bit skatey on the rears. Was that? Did you make a setup change going into the top 10 shootout, or did you just run the same quali set and just send it?
I ran the same set and just sent it, but it felt slipperier. But that'd be me. That'd be me time the car.
No, it seems like a common theme going into these top 10 shootouts. People are saying that the shootout definitely feels slippy in comparison to the qualifying session. I've noticed the last when we had what do we have? Spa and Sebring in rounds 1 and 2. Did you race last week? You did, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Daytona? Yes. What's the difference for you going into a standard format where you got a 60-minute race versus the sprint format that we had last week? Any mentality difference?
No, not particularly much difference for me. I just take both in the same way. Had a bit more time to steady yourself into the race with this one.
Yep.
And just get the car to come to me during the race.
Yeah, nice one. Well, go well tonight, mate. Hopefully you can chase it up from there and see what happens.
No worries. Thank you very much.
Go well, mate. Petar Pavlovich now in this finger-licking good ZB Commodore. through the S's here. Did go purple in the first sector. Little dab of brake there. She comes out of that left-hander into Dunlop. Takes a later apex through that corner in terms of closing down on the exit. That car rotates nicely through Degner 2 there, using lots of the camber to help with that. Up to the hairpin now, uses the inside curve, gets the car further to the right than we've seen. Does run probably half, maybe a full car with too deep on the brakes there. Car length up now to Spoon. Hairpin seems to be a common spot where people are just overestimating themselves. A bit exuberant on the loud pedal before getting on the slow down pedal. Yeah, it does close down on that curb at the apex on the exit there nicely as well. 2 purple, 2 green. 130R now. 265 on the speed gun there. Bottom right corner of your screen. The brakes. Yeah, nicely through there. Use that curve nicely to help rotate the car on both the right and left hand as a Casio triangle on the run up to the line. Now he's got another purple sector. Is this going to be good enough? It is. Almost 6/10 faster than Marty Hansen on a 2-minute 3.36. Jeez, ShiBBy's on it tonight, getting Petar straight in here, mate. Good lap. Looked really strong through that through the last couple of sectors.
Yeah, no, it was a pretty good lap. Unfortunately, made a bit of a mistake there at the hairpin, but other than that, it's not a bad time. So, see where we end up, and hopefully keep it nice and clean for the race.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Car definitely looked pretty strong under brakes, and especially in the changes of the direction through the S's. You said you're going to keep it nice and clean throughout the race. Sort of sitting, you know, lowest you can sit is P7 at the moment. Have you had any thought about strategy for this race?
Haven't really thought about it yet. I'll see how it goes.
But I believe you that you haven't really thought about it much. I don't think anyone's really thought about it. You know, standard 2-stop race. So good luck, mate. Hopefully we'll see you at the end on the podium.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, good luck, mate. Right, Travis Daly here, starting his lap. I don't think he's missed a top 10 shoot. I don't think he's missed a top 10 start for any of our races this season so far. So
No, I think you're right, mate. Travis Daly's had a solid series. He also races on the Sunday night in the Pro-Am, so I think I do see a lot of improvements with those drivers that do both the Am and the Pro-Am series. You definitely see them progressively get better and more consistent.
yeah, and if you think about it, I think one of the benefits is that, like, I don't think there's been a week where the officials have lined up with what we do in SRW. So I think that's sort of has helped. Yeah, clips the inside curve for Digma 2. Nice and close on the exit. But yeah, I think not having the officials line up with the SRW calendar has made it difficult for some of these drivers to get race practice. But you know, the guys who do both Am and the Pro-Am on Sunday nights is finding benefit in having some racing and being forced to do those longer stints on tyres to try and look after them. Travis here has got 3 purples to start. Looked like it understeered a little bit through the first part of Spoon. He got more steering and the car just kind of wouldn't rotate for him. Slid itself to the apex, but see what happens to his, what's that, 5th sector time, only green. So not beating Tar's time, who of course had purple in the first 2 and the last 2 sectors. The brake stuff, Casio triangle just has to chase the rear a little bit there. Sits the car more central compared to what Petar did. So hopefully that maximises his run, although he's uber aggressive on the throttle on the exit. Is it going to hurt his time? I think it has. Oh no, puts him to the top. by 0.03 of a second. Travis Daly surging to the top of this leaderboard. Mate, good lap. It looked like you might have almost thrown it away in that last sector, but your first half of the lap was very strong. Give us your thoughts, mate.
Yeah, very happy with that lap. The first sector actually I felt the strongest. I was on target for probably a high 202, but just that last corner I lit up the tyre a bit coming onto the main straight. But other than that, I'm really happy with the lap.
You got through by, I'd say, skinnier teeth on only 300s faster than Patar. But we were just saying you've got some really good form, mate. I don't think you've missed a top 10 start for any of the previous 4 races in the calendar so far. And your race pace has been there or thereabouts. It's just been sort of strategy and maybe a couple of little incidents here and there that have caught you undone. So looking forward for this race, mate. Anything different you're going to try, or just try and keep it nice and clean and see what happens?
Pretty much just keep it clean. Strategy-wise, just pretty much come as it comes. But yeah, I'm just going to try and just keep it clean like I've done in the last couple of races. If I finish on the top, that's a bonus, but I'd rather finish the race than be in a wall.
Yeah, mate. Points for everything. So good luck, mate. Go well, and we'll see if we don't see you at the end.
Cheers for that. See you later.
Catch up. Troy's on board with Troy Sipple now. Used a lot of that inside curve. Turned the car in quite early into turn 1. Used a lot of the inside curb. Thought he was going to spear off a little bit. Lots of the inside curve of Degner as he managed to keep it clean. Yes, he has. He hammered that inside curve. The Mustang managed to say, okay, I'll take that. Greens through first half the lap here. With a hairpin now. Raw, run up to Spoon. Stable on the brakes, a little tiny bit of a correction, but that's okay. Won't lose him too much time. Hugs the inside curb on the run out of Spoon. Looking like a nice, neat lap for the most part. Purple sector here in the 5th. He does get a purple sector in the 5th, so has he left it all too late, or is he going to find enough time to pip Travis Daly? Oh, it just runs a little bit deep, I think, into Casio Triangle. Just hammer the curb on the exit. It's car middle of the track, running out wide on the exit. Good enough for P4. Just behind Marty Hansen by 900ths, mate. Well done, Troy. That's a decent lap. Probably not quite what you were wanting. Was the track just a bit slippery, like everyone else has been saying, I'm guessing?
Yeah, a little bit slippery, but probably a bit of nerves as well. So first top 10 shootout, so it was a bit yeah. But still wanted to get through the lap without an off track or anything, so the lap count. So I did that, so it's a plus. So
yeah, definitely a plus. That's well done, mate, on getting into the top 10 for the first time. What's your plans for the race? We've seen some good pace out of you in the race.
With the temperature going up, probably stay on the track's going to be a good start. But I just I kind of qualify even with the other series. I kind of struggle a little bit with my qualifying, but I tend to have good race pace all the way through the race, so which I get a lot of spots out of. So hopefully I can just do that again and stay out of everyone's problems if they have them, and get to the end. That'll be the plan.
Nice, mate. Well, good luck, and we will hope we might be able to see you at the end.
Yeah, sweet. Thanks, boys.
No worries, mate. Have a good one.
Cheers.
Joe Mahoney here now, starting his lap. We're talking about just how consistent he's been. He's been consistently one of the fastest qualifiers and had some unfortunate luck throughout some of the races. So he'll be hoping that his luck changes tonight. Car looks very nice through the S's, hugging the curbs really nicely. Almost looks like he's doing 80 kilometres an hour sped up in post-production. Yeah, while he was hugging the curbs there. 2 purples to start. How much curb does he use? Hammers that inside curb for Degner 1. Car, yeah, just clips the red and white curbing. Degner 2. Car pulls up nice down the brakes for the hairpin. He's probably one of the best cars we've seen at the hairpin. Keeps the car slightly tighter on the exit, but that allows him a little bit of a straighter exit in the long run for getting on power. Don't want to be getting on power with too much. The car still rotating. Yeah, looks very nice through Spoon. Not really chasing the rear, or car looks nice and stable. And that's showing in the lap times. 4 purple sectors. Are we about to see a 2 ShiBBy?
My bet's on a yes.
Here we go. Last critical braking application here. Yep, uses the curb. Both parts of the Casio Triangle looks lovely. Car looks really well balanced, really well composed on the curbs. What are we going to see? It is a 2-minute 2.7. He puts 6.5 tenths on the field. Put himself right up there in contention for pole position. Joe, mate, that was a mega lap. Car looked super strong through the S's, and you had the best hairpin. Give us your thoughts, mate.
Yeah, hey guys. Yeah, thanks for that. I'm actually feeling a bit under the weather. Have done for last week. I struggled through Sunday night. I'm going to struggle tonight as well. But I was pretty happy with that in the end. So yeah, looking forward to this race.
Yeah, mate, the car looked like an absolute dream. I was saying in broadcast, it looked like you'd done a... looks like we were looking at you drive the car when you were doing 80 kilometres an hour, just how well the car rotated around a lot of the curbs. And in the change of direction, the car just didn't look like a handful at all. It looked like it had a lot of grip. Did you find the track slippy, though? Were you being real cautious on throttle and brake?
No, not at all. I left a little bit on the table there. But I was looking at just getting it around, not making a mistake like I did in quali and just getting the lap in. So yeah, quite happy with that in the end.
Well, mate, I will wish you good luck, and hopefully you can get through this race without feeling too under the weather. You're probably hoping it would have been a sprint race tonight, so you had a little bit of a break in between. But go well, mate. Good luck, and we hope we can see you at the end and turn some of this pace into great results.
Yeah, cheers, guys. I'll catch up with you later.
Rick Via now didn't make was very quick, last week at Daytona. Different track here though. Let's see what he can do. Green through the first sector. That looks decent in the change of direction. Might have run a bit too wide there. But cuts it back nicely to open up the run into Dunlop. Doesn't use much inside curb for Degner 1. Probably uses a touch more than anyone else in Degner 2. Uses a lot of the exit curb out of there though. Hasn't given him an off track though, which is good. V's that apex nicely to give himself a straighter run out of the corner. Spinning out. Just lets it rest on top of the apex curve there. Out of the corner looks nice. I hope I didn't just see an off-track pop up on my screen then for him though. flash of red, so I hope that wasn't on the exit. We'll see if his time counts. Oh, I sort of had to have a second grab of it. I think through 130R there. Goes to a triangle now. Yep, rides the curbs decently. Power nicely. See what happens to his lap time here. It hasn't registered. He wasn't off track, so he will start from 8th place, I believe, or from the back of the top 10. Rick, mate, was that a little off track at the Exeter Spoon that I saw pop up on my screen?
Yeah, didn't start the lap real good and then pushed a little bit too hard in the middle, unfortunately.
Damn, that sucks, mate. So that'll have you definitely out of 10th place. It's not as bad though, making the top 10. You get a sort of a second chance at trying to move up the field. And are you pretty happy with your race pace, or would you prefer to start a little bit further up?
It's a long race. Just keep out of trouble. Work my way up.
Hey, you had a good run last week at Daytona, if I remember correctly. So hopefully you can turn that into some good fortune tonight, and hopefully we might see you at the end on the podium.
That'd be nice.
All right, mate. Good luck.
Thank you.
No worries, mate. I think we've got Cowie on his lap here now. So we might see if Mr. Director can jump over to Cowie for us. He's got a chance. Yes, he can.
Still on his out lap. There was a bit of a delay in him getting out of the pits. So usually by this time they're coming around onto their flying lap. But yeah, a bit of a delay there. Not sure what happens. Hope there's no issues with his sim or PC.
Yeah, but there's no hardware issues or anything like that. Maybe people were waiting for, I don't know, maybe race control just missed that Rick didn't get a lap time in at an off track. But race control's normally pretty well on top of everything. Again, I don't think we thanked them tonight, but thank you to race control and thank you to all the viewers who are here right now. If you're in chat, please say hello. We can see a lot of good lucks going in there. PSR boys, the Pecky Racing lads, Performance Sim Racing boys, all in chat at the moment. We'll be hoping that Cowie here gets a good lap in there when he comes across the line to start. Cowie, regular entrant into AMs and even the Pro-Am series. I believe he commentates on Wednesday nights, doesn't he? As well. Well, at least he used to. I don't know if he still does. Mr. Director might be able to tell us for certain. Sorry, ShiBBy, I'm calling you Mr. Director now. Anyway, Cowie is starting his flying lap here. Car looking splendid as always. Little dab of the brakes into turn one. Car looks nicely rotated through there. I'll have to look and see what its change of direction is like and how well it runs. The curbs. Oh, clobbers that inside curb for turn 2, turn 3. Car goes a little bit too much grass. He's driving the wheels off it at the moment. It looks like through the S's. Car looks like it's rotating reasonably well. Bumps okay. Purple in the second sector, so this is going to be a great lap time, I can tell you already, as long as Cowie can pull it up for all these corners. Lots of the inside curve for Degner too. That's more or less the line I was expecting to see. Coming up for the hairpin now, sits middle of the track. Does get the car to tuck in nicely. Looks really aggressive on the turn in. Might have been sitting probably half a car width high though at the apex than what he would have liked. Very fast through up to Spoon now. Turn Turns in nicely. Uses a lot of the exit curb purple in the second and third sectors. Yep, uses the red and white exit curbing there. Run up now, up the back stretch, up to 130R. 3 purples. Lots of the inside curb used there. See how it pulls up for Casio Triangle. A little bit skatey on the rears. Does get the car in there though. That hasn't lost him too much time. Looks gripped up on the run down to the line. Looking to beat at 2 minute 2.7. Has he done it? He has a 2 minute 2.29. He puts 4 tenths on Joe Mahoney. Holy moly, ShiBBy, what a lap from Cowie. That was incredible. Car looked like a handful to start with, and yet he got himself up in a P1.
Thanks, boys.
Oh, he's in here now.
You
Cowie,
dragged
well
me
done,
down.
mate. I didn't even hear you join. I was that excited. Mate,
Oh, I didn't join. You dragged me down. Well, someone did anyway.
It's probably Mr. Director ShiBBy. Incredible lap, mate. Looked like it was a bit of a handful to start with, especially through change direction for turn 1 and turn 2, but sorry, turn 3 and 4, I should say. But looked like it hooked up towards the end.
Yeah, look, it's one of those things that, you know, that chicane at the start, if you get the first section wrong, then you stop the next 2. So it's sort of one of those things where I was trying to just get really good drive, and you can use a fair bit of the dirt as you go through there if you just keep half the car, I think, or just you keep your tyres inside the line. So you can be fairly liberal there, but yeah, it's always a bit of a dance with death when you go through there. Good fun though.
Yeah, well, that was a mega lap, mate. Guaranteed front row start here. So we're going to jump on board with Tim Nicol and see if he can't pip you at the end. But good luck, go well tonight, mate, and hopefully see you at the end.
Thanks very much, boys.
Have a good one, mate.
Cheers.
Here we go, Tim Nicol here. Fastest in our qualifying session. Can he go fastest in the top 10 shootout sponsored by Racecraft Simulations? In a Dunlop now. Pace there. Purple in that second sector. Bounces up in the air through there. Yep, uses all that green AstroTurf on the inside of Vector 2. Hairpin now. Does the car pull up? Does he get it turned in early? Yep. Car looks like it's in a good spot. Doesn't look like it's oversteer or getting a bit tail happy on the exit. Jump to camera angle. See the rev lights. Does pull 6th. Very briefly. Oh, he's run deep. He's locked up and he's off track. He's run off at Spoon. That's going to throw his lap away. So unfortunately, I think that means he's going to be starting P9. And Andrew Cowan gets pole position in the end. Gee whiz, Tim's going to be fuming about that. As we get Tim into the booth now, mate. I'll let you finish this lap.
No, you're right.
Did you just lock up a little bit too much into Spoon, or was it a little bit of a handful coming around that right-hander into there, and you're just trying to chase the rear a bit?
Nah, you're spot on. I locked it up. I looked at Cowie's time on the standings and went, oh, I'm going to have to pull something out of my rear for this one, and yeah, just went too deep, and then I knew I went deep, and then I just pushed on the brake pedal too hard and turned, and it was all over. I seem to do this when I'm up at the pointy end of the top 10.
Well, we've seen you've got some, I think it was Sebring where you didn't quite hook up your top 10 shootout lap, and then all of a sudden you managed to get to the front and you were surging your way through. So we know that you've got the pace, mate. Have you done much longer runs? Tried to see what the tyre wear's like. Does it get a handful towards the end of, about the 20-minute fuel load?
I'll be honest, I haven't done any long runs. I'm just going to pump the tyres up
see what happens. See if they hold in there. Hey, you got to try something.
You do, and hopefully that'll get you some good grip to start with. Hopefully that means the tyres don't fall off a cliff towards the end of the stint, mate. Look, I would love to say well done on pole, but unfortunately that's escaped your grasp this time. But good luck in the race, mate, and we'll watch you intently to see where you end up.
Yeah, cheers, guys. It'll be a bit of fun coming through the field, hopefully. Thanks.
Good luck, mate. And that is that, ShiBBy. Andrew Cowan takes home pole position for round 5 off the SRW simrigs.com sponsored Supercars Am series, round 5, of course, sponsored by Warren and Brown. But Cowie brings home Racecraft Simulations pole position in the top 10 shootout. He'll be starting off the front row alongside Joe Mahoney, who he said in the interview that he was feeling a little bit under the weather. So hopefully a front row start will do him a world of good to getting through the next 60 minutes of racing. Of course, it was Cowie and Joe Mahoney who went at it in round 1 at Spa. So we know these two lads can race, and they're going to have their best effort. I am keen to see where the rest of this one ends up. We will throw to a short ad break whilst we jump sessions and whilst the grid is set up. Stand by, hang with us, and we will see you shortly. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are almost ready for a race start here at Suzuka. What a top 10 shootout that was, sponsored by Racecraft Simulations. Based out of Perth, they cover all aspects of racing simulation, including the in-house design and high-quality construction of hardware, software, and complete machines. They're available for sale or for hire. Visit racecraft.net for all of their sales and things you can buy and things you can hire in the sim racing world. We are here at Suzuka for round 5 of the V8 Supercars Am series, sponsored by Simrigs. Round sponsor tonight is Warren and Brown. Track is 5.75 kilometres. We are doing the Grand Prix layout. Notable corners, I think, for racing tonight will include the Degners. The hairpin will be the prime overtaking location. And then the key, I think, is to getting a run out of Spoon, which is on the top left of the track map there, on the run down the backstretch up to 130R, which is kind of a bridge over the run out of the Degners up to the hairpin. And then Casio Triangle is one spot where I think we're going to see maybe a few overtakes, maybe a few chancy overtakes. The AMs are definitely clean drivers. We've seen that over the last couple of weeks with lots of green flag running. But that's one spot where I feel like we might see a little bit of action tonight. I am Thomas Riley. I'm known as Preach in the business. Joining me tonight is ShiBBy. He's doing more of the broadcast role in the background, so you won't hear a whole lot from him, but he'll jump in every now and then.
Peekaboo.
Peekaboo, as he says right there, as he comes back in. He's doing more of the broadcast stuff tonight, so yeah, he'll jump in when needed. But yes, ShiBBy is here. If you are here, please jump in the chat and say hello. We would love to engage with chat tonight and have you coming along with all of your insights and cheering on your drivers, your favourite teams, your favourite drivers in the AM category. We're not too far away from a race start here. Just waiting for everyone to join up. And then once everyone has, we will skip across to the race itself. Andrew Cowan has put himself on pole. The ever reliable Andrew Cowan with a mega lap. Joe Mahoney slots himself into second place. So 2 ZB Commodores to start us off the front row. And then I think it's Travis Daly in third. So a couple of big gaps opened up throughout the field, throughout the top 10 shootout. And then lots of tight ones all the way through. Rick Vigor and Tim Nicol unfortunately didn't set valid laps, so they'll be starting 10th and 9th respectively. I'm hoping we definitely don't see any unfortunate safety cars tonight. Fuel restriction will probably have them doing about 18 to 20 minute stints. That's sort of a lap and a bit difference. So we're expecting 2 stops. When they come, we'll be probably looking from about 15 minutes onwards for the first round of stops. And then definitely be thinking probably with about 15, 20 minutes to go for that second round of stops, which will set up the run home to the flag nicely. Last week we had the sprint round itself. As ShiBBy does his broadcast duties. If you subscribe to SRW TV now, you will go into the draw to win the Racecraft rig and seat to the value of $1,840 retail. Racecraft have a lot of cool stuff available. That rig there is just one of them in a bit more of a formula style position, almost closer to what is currently in the Gen 3 supercars, which I am still waiting for iRacing to give us a little tease. Tuesdays are normally the day they do their teasers, Tuesdays and Thursdays. So we will wait out to see if there's any other teasers to come. I mentioned earlier that we're going to get the teasers, and the common theme is we're going to get Willow Springs in the next update, which I remember racing for the first time in Need for Speed. No, not Need for Speed Street. It was a Need for Speed game with green on the cover or something. I can't remember what it was called. But it was, I remember playing that on the Nintendo DS way back when. That was the Need for Speed Carbon was my first foray into inverted commas sim racing. But yes, that's the first time I remember doing Willow Springs, and then Willow Springs was also used, if you've watched any Top Gear, when they do their US road trip number, whichever number it is, number 4 maybe, with the Aston Martin, the Viper, and the... I can't remember what the other car was in that episode, but anyway, they do aerial dogfighting against planes, basically aerial laser tag around Willow Springs. So that's how the spot that I remember it from. But nice, it's a very dry track, nice and wide and flowing. Quite a few strong elevation changes, a couple of off-camber corners, lots of on-camber corners. So will be very good for racing, I'm sure. And I'm sure that come the next season of SRW, we will jump there potentially. Still a couple of other tracks we're waiting on, including Pukekohe, which will be an instant hit, I am sure. Hopefully that comes before the end of the year, so we can fit it in this in 2023 in SRW racing. But yes, that is the state of iRacing at the moment. In terms of new releases, new updates, I mentioned before, we also got the Nürburgring 24 coming up this weekend, which I'm sure there will be quite a few drivers tonight and over the next couple of nights that will be racing in that as well. I'm not personally racing in it. I do not have a rig that works at the moment, unfortunately, so I'm resigned to commentary duties. But I'm very keen to jump back into the sim very soon. Might even flash my hand at getting back into supercars in the not too distant future. Just waiting on the session to tick over at the moment. Drivers are out doing some race sim at the moment. Just trying to get some lap times in, see what the cars are like on a when I say full fuel load, the most fuel they can fit in the cars. Just from aerial here with Tim Nicholas, he goes under the underpass where 130R is in the Quantum Pecky's Performance Racing Commodore. We'll be hoping to see him move his way forward. He'll be starting out a 9th, unfortunately, after going off at Spoon. Just locked a front brake and went a little deep. And couldn't quite get it turned, so he'll be hoping to surge his way through the field, no doubt. I'll take this opportunity now to thank all of the other sponsors that are making all of this possible, from broadcast all the way to getting people on track. Dragon RC. Products range from aircrafts, gliders, engines, fuel and electric turbines for RC jets, electronics and accessories. They're available on dragonrc.com.au, based out of Melbourne. A very, very thankful, we're all thankful for them for jumping on board. They were the round sponsor for a couple of weeks at the start of the season for Supercars Ams. Toyo Sim also on board. Toyo Sim dedicated to bringing quality and affordable sim racing products to the market. Also located out of Melbourne. They've been involved in sim racing since the dawn of the first Gran Turismo game. That's a fair while ago. So thank you to Toyo Sim. You can jump on at toyosim.com.au to find all of their details. Grim Industries, the home of the V8 coffee table, which I think is just a brilliant piece of kit that you should convince. Oh, it's Mother's Day coming up, so maybe your mums are into motorsports, maybe they're not, and maybe you just want a reason to buy something to put in your lounge room. Jump on to grimindustries.com.au to find all of the coffee table and different paraphernalia and whatever man cave stuff they have. They're also the makers of our trophies for this season. So we will, we can't wait till we can show those off to you in the not too distant future. And Tempting Sweets, who are providing our driver of the day and also sponsoring our Thursday night in-house exhibition race, I suppose you could call it. Family-owned business from Adelaide, who have a range of products in the sweets department, including the famous Pick and Mix and Tempting Stash boxes to cure that sweet tooth. TemptingSweets.com.au. And of course, our season sponsor, Simrigs.com. You can save 5% on any purchase by using the code SLW5OFF at the checkout. As we jump to our Simrigs.com V8 Supercars Am grid here, starting at a pole is Andrew Cowan, Joe Mahoney next to him, Travis Daly, Petar Pavlovich, Matty Hansen jumping up into fifth. Sorry, Marty Hansen jumping up into fifth place there after qualifying in 10th in the qualifying session. Managed to find a huge gain of time to get him up into fifth. Scott Weston, Bradley Wall, Rick Vigor, Tim Nicol, Brett Taylor, Bradley Clayton. Jump over the page there. We have Callan Hodgkinson. Yes, where are we? Mark Peck, Scott Perrins, Steven Singovich, rounding out the 16 cars who will race their way to checkered flag tonight. Not too far away from a start here. Cars are on the grid, waiting for those lights to come on. Here we go. Getting ready for a start here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And it's lights out and away we go. I'm doing my best Crofty impersonation as we get across the line. Andrew Cowan leads. Travis Daly tucking in behind him. Joe Mahoney just has to slot in for third. Petar Pavlovich is off. Got cars off everywhere. 3 cars are all that are involved. Jump back to the lead here. We'll get a replay of that shortly once we get through probably the first lap or so. Cowie leads from Joe Mahoney. Travis Daly. Marty Hansen is up into 4th now with whatever happened at the start. Single file through the S's. Running up here to Dunlop. Cowie starting to stretch his legs a little bit, open up that advantage through the first sector of corners. Top 4 are starting to gap away from Tim Nicol, who's already up to 5th place. Up 4 spots already. Carl Hodgkinson also up 5, and we're not even halfway through the lap yet. As we head through Degner. Yep, might have a bit of damage. Definitely has some damage. Definitely has some damage there. She's hurting his on Rick Vigor, Carl Hodgkinson. Both having a little battle through the hairpin. That gap between the top 6 is already out to 3.5 seconds. So 2 packs basically forming here. Was involved at the start. Petar Pavlovich, Bradley Clayton, and I think Scott Weston might have also been involved at the start. Troy Sipple was also involved. He's down 3 spots from the start. Up to 130 up now for the first time. Bit of slipstreaming going on. Here we go. Here's the action spot. Cowie's already opened up that gap. That's a 6/10 already. Under brakes, Marty Hansen just stays in behind Travis Daly there. Battling out for 3rd spot. Behind him, he's got Tim Nicol right within 3/10. Bradley Wall's just almost at a second behind. So a couple of the gaps opening up now. Andrew Cowan leads the first lap. We're about to get a replay here off the start. What happened down into turn 1. So we've got Peckies. That is Troy Sipple. Oh, so Bradley Wall and Petar Pavlovich come together. And that pushes them across Troy Sipple's nose. So you can just see, watch for the green headlights on the black Mustang there. Watch as he tries to duck out from behind another car. It's a little bit of converging going on. Thinks he's a little bit closer to Marty Hansen on the left-hand side. Moves across ever so slightly. I think it's just 3 in. I think it's just 2 into 1, and then unfortunately Troy Sipple is an unlucky bystander alongside Scott Weston there. Race control saying no further action for lap 1. Turn 1, lap 1. So we race on. Pato Pavlovich just coming out of the pits now. Looks like he's took a very quick fast repair and maybe a quick top up of fuel. Yeah, Peck and Hodgkinson here going at it. Hodgkinson, I think, just got through on Peck out of the hairpin on the run up to... what's happened to Travis Daly here? He's dropped right back. He's dropped 2 spots out of all of this into 5th, tucks in behind. Wonder if he might have just locked a brake or something into Spoon, and that's why he's dropped quite a few spots. But Cowie and Joe Mahoney opening up. We get a replay here of what's happened to Travis Daly. So is that a little bit of blinking going on there for Travis Daly? Not sure if that was just on my end looking at it. Does get into the corner a little bit hot. Runs a little bit wide on power. Good catch to keep it on the black stuff. But that has compromised his exit out of Spoon up the back straight. So has to tuck in between Tim Nicol and Bradley Wall. And he's managed to hold that position at the moment. The leaders have opened up that gap now to 3, just shy of 3 seconds back to Marty Hansen. So Marty Hansen has turned P10 into P3 in the space of 3 laps, which is very nice. It was top 10 shootout in 3 laps, which is very nice for him. Pavlovich down in 16th at the moment, unfortunately, with that lap 1 incident. Just watching the field come through the first Degner here, seeing how they take the curbs. Some drivers opting not to take much of the curb, and then some taking as much of the curb as they can. At the hairpin now, you can just see how some of the cars are taking a little bit of a wider exit, allowing the car to run out a little bit wider. Some of them are cutting it a little bit tighter. It's only fractionally, but tighter means you use more of the rear tyre. Wider means more of the rear tyre, more of the rear end to get out of the corner. If you open it up, you're not going to be able to get on throttle as early. You're also going to be using more sustained load on the front tyres, which around the first sector of this lap is really important to have good front tyre temperature and good front tyre grip as well, given that you're doing a lot of turning and there's a lot of little dabs to brakes and there's a lot of weight transfer onto the front axle. Travis Daly here through the Casio Triangle. I'll run down the last corner now. Bradley Wall trying to catch up with him, stay in behind him. Looking at the gaps in the field, it looks like there's a lot of 2x2 battles as we've got a battle going on for P3 at the moment. Marty Hansen and Tim Nicol going at it side by side into turn 1. Tim Nicol is just going to hold on to it, just having that inside line, having a little bit of a better run into turn 2. Tim Nicol moves himself up into 3rd place. That's a gain of 6 positions already in this race. So Tim and Marty Hansen are I would say that they're the biggest movers since qualifying, since that provisional top 10 was set. Tim has gone up and down and then back up after that qualifying session. But his job now is to try and close that gap to Joe Mahoney in front. I was just going to say that there were a lot of 2x2 battles coming up through the field. Just had Scott Weston close the gap to Mark Peck a bit. Keeps flashing in of about 5 or 6 tenths or so. So this is one of the closest battles we've got on track at the moment. Mark Peck and Scott Weston. The hairpin. So there's any differences with the cars. Scott takes a little bit of a tighter line out of the corner. I was saying before, he's going to use a lot more of the rear tyre, try and get the car to drive out of the corner a little bit more aggressively and just try and, but also try and control any wheel spin that he might get. Runs it up high on the curb through Spoon, all the way through the corner. Lose a little bit of time through there. We seem to be a lot closer coming out of the Degners. So strengths and weaknesses of each of the cars, each of the drivers' setups. Of course, these cars are basically identical. Oh, very wide. I think he sent it in a little bit too hot, and that has actually compromised him. He's lost him a lot of time. But looks like he's really good ride control under brakes. Able to close up that gap really nicely after having to be a little bit wider through 130R through the exit. Bit of a three-car battle coming up here. Marty Hanson and Bradley Wall, Travis Daly not too far in front. So I think Marty might have lost a spot there to Travis Daly as well. So I wonder if Marty's had a bit of a mistake. So we'll see what, see if Mr. Director can find anything about that. Here we go, run through the Casio triangle, or does just get a little bit tail happy potentially on the change of direction. We'll see if we can get it on board here. So the car rotates, looks like it rotates okay. We might be able to get a better camera angle if we're, yeah, just over rotates a bit and has to correct the car, has to slow it up a bit more just to get the car back under control, and that loses him the spot to Travis Daly. It's my impression with Bradley Wall behind. So watch the mean green-eyed machine of Bradley Wall to range up to the back of Marty Hanson. Tim Nicol has already closed that gap to Joe Mahoney down to 2 seconds. So Tim is starting to find some race pace, starting to really exert whatever pace he has on the leaders. But all the gaps, there's lots of 1 second-ish gaps between 2 seconds throughout the field. Sort of, there's a 3-car battle, then there's a, almost you could say a 5-car battle from 4th down to 8th, and then another gap back to 9th, and then 9th to 13th. And of course, Bradley Clayton and Kadar Pavlovich are a little bit further back than they would have liked after lap 1. I think everyone's just starting to settle in now. Might be starting to think about looking after tyres, looking after trying to see if they can save just a little bit of fuel, trying to extend that fuel range out by a lap, which works in your favour towards the end of the stint. And potentially in the ability to somewhat short fill at the end. In most cases, tyres are covered by fuel. So we would expect that, we should be expecting that everyone will take tyres at each of the stops. It'll just be how well you get onto and off pit lane. Sorry, that sounds like I'm mixing both oval and road speak there. So get in and out of pit lane. Let's just get on and off pit road. Same for any of you Americans out there who are joining into the stream. Welcome to arguably the best Australian sim racing holistic series. Everything from supercars to F3s to TCRs to 86s and of course GT3s on Friday nights. Lots of good series. It'll be good to see some of the grids increase in size, get some more drivers in there. So if the time zones work for you, which I'm not sure if they do at all, please jump to simracingworld.com.au and jump on and register. Join the Discord and come and see what it's all about. simracingworld.com.au. Just watching some of these battles here. And the Discord link is also in the description if you wish to join. So go and scroll down into the description of this video, of this live stream. If you want to join, go there. Tell you what, Tim Nicol's right on the back of Joe Mahoney now. since I've been spruiking the Discord. He's closed that gap down to less than a second, at times less than even half a second. So Joe's not letting Andrew get away, but now he's got to think about Tim Nicol behind, ranging up behind him. Tim has done not the best lap of the race so far. That goes to Joe Mahoney, only just, but Tim's last couple of laps have been mega fast in comparison. So I'd be watching to see if Tim maybe tries to get the run out off Spoon, tries to get a little bit of slipstream help out of 130R, tries to just send it through 130R and tries to close that gap, maybe go for a Ruby to Casio triangle. That's probably the best overtaking spot he's got at the moment. If it's not there, then it'll be into turn 1. I feel like it's about to come, the move for P2. Joe's just got to keep in mind, though, that he doesn't want to fall off the back of Cowie. Doesn't want to lose any hint of slipstream benefit that he can find, whilst at the same time staying in contention to win this race. So at Spa, these two are battling all of this as we jump on board to Marty Hansen with Travis Daly here. Marty right on the back. So I wonder if Travis has had another little bit of a moment. Like that gap to the leaders is sort of stable from when I last looked at it, which was only about half a lap ago. So a bit of a 5-car battle forming here. Marty is the only one in that battle who's in Holden Commodore. So here we go, slipstream. Looking up. Doesn't quite get alongside, so has to pull back in. Hopefully you can try and stick on behind here. Run through the S's. Let's see if we can stay on this vertical camera because this really shows a little bit more about the lines that each driver's taking. Travis is doing exactly what he needs to do. Might have just clipped a little bit too much inside curb there and it's helped. Oh, and he's run wide. He's out in the dirty stuff, out of Dunlop. That invites Marty Hansen through. Is Travis going to hold on from Bradley Wall? Bradley's going to try and have a look up the inside into the Degners. Not quite close enough. Anything that compromises Bradley's run. So now Rick Vigor is going to get involved in this battle. It's going to be 4 Mustangs going at it. As Marty Hansen has been given the slingshot straight through, back up into 4th place. No moves there from the Mustangs in behind. I would say that that's not going to stay that way. That's a spicy little battle going on. Tim Nicol is right up behind Joe Mahoney now, though. That gap's down to 2 tenths. 2.5 tenths on the run up the backstretch now. So just maybe looking after some temperatures there. Doesn't quite get the slipstream benefit. Joe's just sitting not quite middle of the track. Tim has sent it into 130R, a little bit wide from the apex, and that's hurt him in the run up to the triangle. So he's going to have to reload and go again, try and get the run out of the triangle here. Looks like he's got the run. He's getting the slipstream here, and I think he's going to be alongside when they get to the braking point for turn 1. Yep, there he is alongside. It's wheel to wheel. And he gets that move done, although not quite fully. There's a lot of the inside curb. Joe just can't quite get the drive through the middle of the corner down the grip to be able to make that move stick. Troy Sipple's just been overtaken by Hodgkinson, but that would be because he has gone into the pits. So he's the first of our stoppers. I wonder if this is maybe a fresh air request from him. When I say fresh air request, he's looking to try and get some fresh air, or if this is a strategic, or he's just out of fuel. We will see when he eventually comes back out. Brett Taylor and Callan Hodgkinson is going at it. Brett was in front of Callan, but Callan has run a little bit wide and Brett's gone up the inside. So yep, that looked like a little bit of a side set from Callan. As he just got a little bit wide. Looks like it was all fair in love and war though. Callan late apex trying to get the drive out of the corner, but Brett was able to get on the power earlier. Marty Hansen still holding on the 4th place there. So it's now a 3 Mustang versus 1 supercar battle. Travis Daly just linking a little bit maybe. Race control will be on top of that. Just monitoring his network connection so that we can get the best racing possible throughout the field. Let's see if anyone pits this time by. Try and maybe cover off on Troy Sipple. No one from this top 6 has. Top 7 even. Just want to see if anyone behind pits. If not, then we're going for one more. Rick looking up the inside of Bradley Wall. Not quite up far enough there. So we'll have to tuck him behind through the S's. I don't think we're going to see much racing through the S's this time during this race. I think it's just too difficult. The cars are too much on edge, so you'd have to have a good run into turn 3 to really make it work. Otherwise, it's single file all the way through here. Best thing as a driver is just to try and capitalise on whatever grip you've got and try and make that work. Joe Mahoney just popped up on my screen with an off track, and he lost about half a second, almost a full second off the back of Tim Nicol. But Tim is on the back of Andrew Cowan, and that gap's now down to less than half a second. Through the hairpin they've been. On the run up to Spoon they go. Tim's got great speed out of that Commodore. Taking a wider line. Cowie just using the brakes to maintain the balance of the car, try and keep the weight distribution exactly where he wants it. Slightly more on the nose, maybe even more neutral. Here we go. Tim's done this before. He's got the run. Gets the run. I think he's got a good run out of there, but not quite enough to be able to get up alongside by the triangle. He's just going to sit and stalk behind now and try and put some pressure on. Is anyone going to bite and go to the pits now? Not from the top 2. Joe Mahoney goes in. I don't think he has. No, he's still there. We look back and we wait for Marty Hansen to come through. Marty Hansen and Rick Vigor are in, so they're breaking up from that top 4 battle. Just fallen off the back of those top 2. So I wonder if this is... There's one or two things. There's either tyre life has started to go. There might be a bit of extra fuel save. Or we know we spoke to him at the start of the race and he was talking about... Sorry, the end of his top 10 shootout lap, and he said he's been under the weather. So hopefully this isn't a little bit of fatigue stepping in. As we see Tim Nicol go up the inside of Cowie. Showed the nose. Cowie runs a little bit deep. Has to go defensive through the hairpin. Parks it on the apex. Tim tries to do the crossover. Crisscross doesn't quite have the run. He's stuck back into behind because he knows he's got... I can tell you, he's got a lot of straight line speed. So that car is tuned for some pretty quick speeds. Here we go. Here's the top speeds here. Yeah, look at that. Tim Nicol, he's 5 kilometres an hour faster than Andrew Cowan. Look at Colin Hodgkinson back there at 280. Mark Peck's got 282. So there's a lot of fast speeds out there at the moment. Cowie takes a lot of curb. Timra takes a lot of the exit. So which way they want to go? Cowie goes defensive. Skates it in on the rear brake. Who's going to pit out of this lot? Cowie's in. Top 3 are all in. So this is the end of their fuel load. So duck into pits now. Daly and Bradley Wall still. So Wall, Taylor, Hodgkinson, Daly's in. First of the cars to stop was Troy Sipple, but he stopped on lap 8. Oh, Bradley made the late decision, I think, or maybe might have been a bit eager on the throttle. Callan goes through. Where does he pop out? Does he pop out ahead of the leaders? He does. So he's got enough fuel to go for one more lap, I would say. I suppose he's been doing a little bit of save throughout his stint. He'll be marginal though, looking at some of these stop times. Because as I said, fuel is covered by tyres, or tyres is covered by fuel. Troy Sipple only did a 16-second stop, but he stopped on lap 8, so 3 laps earlier. Cowie, Nickel and Mahoney is the effective top 3 at the moment. So Cowie's managed to get a net gain over Tim Nickel throughout that stop. Callan Hodgkinson just had an off track, and is he still showing as off track? No, still on track. Looks like he had a moment through. Get a replay here. Through Degner 1. Yeah, so he's just running off track through Degner 1. Oh, that's a little bit more than I was kind of expecting. I was saying he's having an off track, so he's definitely damaged the rear wing. Hopefully he hasn't done much damage to the left rear of that car. But he is falling back quite substantially. Marty Hansen goes for a move around Steve Singovich, who just locks up, runs a little bit deep, and Marty just capitalises. So I will say that's not for an effective position, because Steve still has to stop. We're still waiting on Callan and Steve to stop. Bradley Clayton and Petar Pavlovich, they've both stopped as well, but they only stopped at the end of lap 1. So realistically, they're probably only going to be able to go a lap, maybe even 2 laps if they stretch it past what Callan or Stephen have done. Callan has gone into the pits now. That incident with him at the Deckers is really going to hurt his overall position when he comes out of this pit stop sequence. So during the pit stop sequence, I'm being told in my ears from Mr. Director that Brett Taylor managed to jump Bradley Wall through the pit stops, but they are still going at it themselves on track, so it wouldn't have been too much of a gain or loss. Callan and Stephen are both in the pits now. You can see them falling down the timing screen. Bradley Clayton is also pitted now, so that's, and Petar Pavlovich as well, so that's a result of that extra lap when they pitted at the end of lap 1 for damage. So that's as far as they could go, which is kind of what we expected. But definitely with a safety car here, getting home on the one stop is going to be interesting. I wonder how many people are going to chance it. We saw quite a few people chance it in the, the winner chanced it the furthest in P1 and P2 in the Daytona feature race last week. So very tight running between with fuel loads, especially on the one-stop strategy. Going for a quick pit exit look here with Andrew Cowan. Oh, there is contact out of pit exit, so I wonder what race control are going to do about that, because I don't know if there was. Would you consider that contact after the after exiting your pit box, which is normally when you're ghost? No, you're not ghosted in pit lane. So, I wonder if that's a marginal one for race control. Never considered pit exit issues before. So Nicola just banged in the fast lap of the race of a 2-minute 2.95, when he is less than half a tenth behind Andrew Cowan now. Oh, Bradley goes for more. Oh, I think that's trading paint on the rear bumpers. That is very, very, very close there. Now looking through the field here. Bradley Wall and Scott Weston now. Scott Weston trying to capitalise on Bradley Wall's little escapades up to the back of Brett Taylor's bumper. And he's going to capitalise fully on that. Quick jump to Cowie and Nickel. Again, we saw this happen in just before the pit stops. Nickel and Cowan going at it on the run up to the hairpin. But this is just inviting Joe Mahoney in now. Falling back in a bit of a battle of 2 or 3 car, a bit of a situation where we've got 2 or 3 car battles after the pit stops. Nickel sending it into Spoon. And he used a bit of the curb to arrest the car. Obviously, it's about half the car width away from the apex from where he wanted to. Does lose him a little bit of time, but with that top speed benefit that he's been getting, and that advantage he's had on the top speed, it looks like he's ranging right up back behind. News from race control is no further action on the pit lane incident. So Rubbings Racing boys, go on. Which I'm speculating, I'm not sure what they're going to do, but yeah, race control have mentioned that it's all good to go. Race on. Rick Vigor looking at the back of Daly here. Another one of our 2-car battles going on within a second. Just jumping over to chat here for a quick second whilst these two are having a little bit of a tussle. You can see it on your screen. Oh, Daly's run a little bit wide. Invited Rick in. Went a little bit deep into turn 2. Rick's now right up behind. As I said before, though, it's really just one single file racing through here. So Rick will be hoping to try and get an exit here. To change direction. Oh, Travis runs it as wide as he dares. So Taylor and Wall come nice and close again, but this is Nickel and Cowie for the race lead. Cowie looks like he went a little bit defensive there. Nickel has to go around the outside. Can't quite get it done. Again, he's probably half a car with the way, but tightens it on the exit, trying to get a bit of a straighter line out. Cowie immediately goes defensive on the inside, tries to break a bit of slipstream. Nickel is coming. It's going to be side by side through 130R. I don't want to look who's going to blink first. Cowie's going to hold the inside. They both run wide. Cowie later on the brakes. Nickel parks him. Cowie's going to hold it on the outside. Nickel's now going to take the outside through the second part of the Casio triangle. This is incredible battling here. Nickel gets through for now, but Cowie's going to look up the inside. Mahoney's getting involved. We'll have to grab a replay of that overtake all the way from Spoon, all the way through the Casio triangle in just a second. I think Nickel has taken the lead of this race and will stay there and hope to open up that gap. But Cowie is not letting him get too far away through the S's here. Cowie's best opportunity is to try and do it this lap. Otherwise, I think Tim Nickel's pace is shown to be just a bit too much for these drivers. Joe should be encouraged by these two battling to just try and stay on the back of them, try and find what he can within himself. Joe's lap times, obviously given the battlings between Tim and Andrew, Joe managed to find a second on Cowie, which really means he found a second on the two of them. and they changed positions throughout that lap. Looking back through the field now, Sipple and Hansen, whilst we get a replay loading up, hopefully, with those two battling. Here we go, replay loading in now. So as you can see, Cowie goes defensive. Nickel has to go around the outside. Nickel is up their way. Nickel does run wide, and Cowie just goes into the gap that was left. So it's an interesting one. Personally, from a racing room and going all four wheels off track to make an overtake there. So I'll leave that one with race control, but these two have been really good. Vigor is on the back of Daly here. Vigor, is he going to go for a move into the triangle? I don't think he's close enough. He's going to have a look though on the brakes. No, not quite close enough. Just uses more of the brakes, slows the car right up. As Travis turned through the chicane. Hansen and Sipple going at it now. Obviously, Marty Hansen starting racing now in the position that he started. Hoping to get past Sipple at some stage. Shortly, I'm sure. Trying to get himself a net position gained out of all of it. Biggest mover so far has definitely been Tim Nickel. He's up 8 spots. Biggest shaker, Petar Pavlovich after the lap 1 incident. But he's in a battle now with Bradley Clayton. About 90 seconds off the lead or so. What a time to jump on board with Petar and Clayton there. Petar's gone up the inside and looked like there was not a whole lot of space to get a move done through 130R. And that's for 14th place, is it not? Yeah, 14th place, so Bradley doesn't go too defensive. Petar gets it up the inside, into the rear, and I think Bradley just went, you know what, mate? You're a little bit wild. I'm going to jump out of that one. So Petar does get through. We go back to Sipple and Hansen now. Running up to 130. We saw that last overtake take place. A little bit of tyre smoke there, and I think that might have been from Sipple in front, but Hansen just is putting the pressure on now, exactly what he needs to do to try and maximise his moves. And really the closest battles we've got are between Sipple and Hansen for 4th, but off for 6th place between Daly and Vigo, which is 7 and a bit seconds off the back of Hansen now. So, well, I think that gap is closing. I think Daly and oh no, my bad. I was looking at another battle. Vigor and Taylor, that gap is out to 11 seconds. There's a couple of 1 second gaps back behind Taylor. That's a nice close group there. They're doing very similar lap times. So I think they're just settling into a rhythm now as well. Yeah, and obviously the top 3 are still in a pack together. Joe Mahoney and Cowie are going at it. Tim Nickel hasn't really opened up the gap as much as I thought, so I wonder if he's just saving tyres, maybe just considering his fuel loads a little bit moving forward. Mahoney is off the track. Looks like he might have had a bit of a moment at the hairpin, and he's lost, geez, almost a full second and a half out of all that. So this is the run up here now to Spoon. Runs wide at Spoon. Comes back on. Obviously off track. I wonder if there's something on the exit. Does he get a little bit taily? No. He's fallen off a fair way though, so. Down to Nickel going side by side. So Cowie's, Nichols have probably had a moment out of Spoon as well. Cowie runs off track. Oh, comes back on and they almost make contact together on the exit of the corner. Oh, and Nickel runs deep. Nickel's locked up, so this race is firing up now between the top 3. Everyone's running off left, right, and centre. And now Vigor's on the back of Daly. So car 23 redressed to car 991 for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. So that would have been what I was talking about before. That was probably the move at 130R a couple of laps ago where Nickel took the lead. Hansen and Sipple now at it. Oh, Hansen just leaves the nose in there for as long as he can without making contact. The race is starting to fire up now. We're talking about all these battles being close, but all of a sudden they're right on top of each other. And Joe Mahoney's sort of net loss out of all that at the lead has sort of resulted in him coming back after his mistake, all in the space of about half a lap. So this race is certainly firing up, ladies and gentlemen. We haven't even had the second round of pit stops yet, so don't go too far away. If you are going to go and get yourself a beverage, I would recommend you do so during the pit stops. You have about 20 seconds from when they enter pit lane. From when they stop. About 50 seconds by the time they enter pit lane for you to go and run and get yourself a drink. Sipple and Hansen still at it, and Daly and Vigor are also at it now. Go back to this Hansen and Sipple battle. So Hansen can do up into Spoon. Both of them fairly matched for top speed, it looks like. I wonder if this is a little bit of tyres starting to go away from them a little bit. Starting to find the cars a little bit harder to drive. Is the track temperature coming up? Might get the director to see if he can bring up some atmospheric data for us, some meteorological data. There we go. What is track temperature? Can't quite read that on my screen. My eyesight must be good. Air temp 21. Track temp is at 37 degrees. So that's I think that might be a little bit warmer than what we had in the shootout, and the drivers were saying it was slippery. So combine that with a little bit of tyre wear. It's just Vigor and Daly going at it now. Sipple is into the pits, so is Vigor. So it looks like those two close battles, looks like it's now a battle about trying to see if the undercut works, or is it better the clean air for one lap. I think the undercut will work immensely here. So that's what we're seeing now. These drivers coming into the pits trying to get the advantage over the other driver. I'm surprised they're not one of the top three pitted in that either. I would have expected maybe Joe Mahoney to pit. Maybe put himself back in contention. I mean, he's still in contention, but put himself back in a good position to battle. So Sipple's out. Vigor is also out. Let's wait and see what gap that comes down to. So Hansen and Peck, they stopped the lap earlier than everyone else. You can see their first little boxes. Their blue is a little bit wider, starts the lap earlier. So I'm expecting them to at least be the next ones in. So Hansen did stop a lap earlier. So, what am I thinking? Hansen stopped a lap earlier, so he should be coming in probably the next lap based on fuel loads. Unless Rick has done... Rick and Troy have both done the last possible time to stop. In terms of, the critical lap, which is the earliest you can stop to get home. I wonder if that's what they've done, a critical time. Of course, these drivers also need to consider that they need to have at least one lap of fuel to get to at the end of the race, or at least enough fuel to get back to pit lane. Unless there has been a defined pit lane location, safe stopping location, which I'm not sure there has been. I haven't seen one in the Discord channels related to this series. Jason Douglas, I believe Hyson is in race control. Answering your question. Yes, he is our race steward. Sipple goes around the outside of Hodgkinson, so thing to consider though is that Hodgkinson still has to pit. So we've got Hansen, Weston, and Wall all in the pits. So where does Hansen blend with Sipple? So Hansen comes out in front of Sipple. So Sipple being stuck in behind Hodgkinson has meant that he hasn't been able to capitalise with the undercut, and Hansen has done the overcut as a result. Joe Mahoney is also pitted. He's come out 10 seconds in front of Hansen. So Mahoney has run that extra lap. So we'll see where he ends up relative to the leaders when they stop. Scott Perrins is in the pits now. I think Petar Pavlovich is also coming into the pits. No, he's gone past. Joe Mahoney looking for a move around Mark Peck here. Another Quantum Peckers Performance racing car versus the Race on Oz car. Joe goes for a move up the inside. Fresher rubber of an advantage to him there. Peck was thinking about coming back, trying to do a switchback, but there's just no grip on the inside of the track there. Nickel and Cowan are both in. So here's where we see, wonder if Joe's move there was at exactly the right time. Did he get held up too much from the leaders? Tim Nickel and both Nickel and Cowan are now stationary. Travis Daly's come in. So where do they come out relative to where Joe is on track? Expecting them to be stationary for another 10 seconds or so. Is there going to be enough time for Joe to get past them? Cowan is moving. Tim Nickel is also moving. They're both exiting pit lane. Joe's coming with a bit of extra speed, but it looks like it's going to be a fairly stock standard gap as it was before the pit stop sequence started for these drivers. Travis Daly and Brett Taylor. Travis Daly is in, Brett Taylor's in, Mark Peck's in. So where does Travis come out relative to Rick Vigor? Rick Vigor has got Travis Daly. So Hansen has jumped Sipple and Vigor's jumped Daly in all of that pit stop sequencing. Weston is in front of Taylor by about 2.5 seconds though, so that gap's quite open. But Hansen and Sipple are quite close. So Taylor and Wall we saw battling before the pit stop sequence, and I think it was Wall chasing Taylor. So that's a status quo. Still waiting on Callan Hodgkinson to pit though. So once he pits and once Stephen pits, then the entire field has made 2 stops. All we'll be waiting on then is Petar Pavlovich and Bradley Clayton to stop, which we should be expecting in about a lap's time or so. Needed to rest my voice for a bit. I've been speaking flat out as the race has been going on. Joe Mahoney's just banged in the fastest lap of the race, by the way, 2-minute 2.87. But the interval for him opened up over that lap, so that must just be by nature of the tyres. Of course, Tim Nickel and Andrew Cowan, they had a pit stop in there, but Joe Mahoney's just banging the fastest lap. Callan Hodgkinson has now come into the pits for his second stop. So that will cleanse him through the field. Gap between Cowie and Nickel is just under a second. We've got Hansen and Sipple going at it. And we've got Taylor Wall also going at it here. sound like a broken record with how much I've been saying these two-car battles throughout the field, but it's been good, clean racing. Now, if you just watch closely there, you would have seen that Wall had run a little bit wide on the exit of one of the S's through that sequence, and you can see how he's just dropped about maybe 2 car lengths, 3 car lengths off the back of Brett Taylor and all of that, and he's lost about 2/10 or so. That's what I think Cowie was talking about by compromising your line. If you get your line wrong in one of the corners within the S's, you sort of lose it for the next corresponding corners. And you can see how that gap has just closed, has opened up between Taylor and Wall. And then the other thing to consider is that Scott Weston is falling back into the clutches of these guys. So watch for it to become a 3-car battle in not too long. Tim Nicholas starting to stretch his advantage. They just did the fastest lap of the race of a 2:02.56. So he's almost 8/10 faster than what Cowie could do on the last lap. So this is what we were expecting from Tim Nichol, is to start banging in some rapid laps. Was it 2:02.56 faster than what happened in qualifying? I feel like it was close. I think Cowie did a 2:02.3 in qualifying. So, sorry, in the top 10 shootout. So it would have been very close overall. A 3-car battle now with Weston, Taylor and Moore. We'll jump to that in a second, but I was just talking about Tim Nichol and how well he's been running. We've seen him run away with the race at Sebring. Once he got into the lead, he sort of, no one could catch him. As we see Sinkovic and Pavlovich both come in now. So Pavlovich and Bradley Clayton as well now making their third stops, but really one of them was a 4-stop because of damage. So unfortunately for Padar, that's not the result that he would have wanted to be, down in 15th place at the moment, making a 3rd pit stop. But that's sometimes just the way the cookie crumbles. Hansen and Sipple is just dipped under a second. So that gap is closing slightly. Vigor and Daly, that's opened up to outside a second. And Wall's fallen off the back of Taylor ever so slightly. So just a summary of all the battles that are going on in the field at the moment. Just in the space of the last 5 seconds that I've been talking about that, Weston must have run a little bit deep into one of the corners and has invited Taylor and Wall back in. So this is a battle we need to keep our eyes on very closely. And I think I might have got... Oh, Weston runs a little bit deep through the first part of the chicane. Manages to stay in front. Only just though. This is inviting Brett Taylor for Valve Motorsport up alongside him here. We'll be looking to... There's no way he could go around the outside there and make the move stick. So he's going to sit in behind. Hopefully, Bradley Wall's right on the back of them as well. So I was worried that Bradley might be looking to capitalise on Brett having to go to the outside, stick a nose up there and go for a move, but didn't quite get up far enough. Oh, Weston's run wide. That's exactly what I was talking about earlier with what Cowie had said as well, about how if you get one corner of the S's wrong, you lose flow, consistency, and you're in the wrong spot for the rest of the corners. So Brett Taylor has capitalised on the Scott Weston error there. Taipan Esports, GMK Logistics. It's it's Team SRW Motorsports car. Bradley Wall, the green-eyed monster, back into the realm of making another move here. Finding a little bit of time through the run up to Spoon. Curious to see why all of a sudden Scott Weston's times are dropping. It's just, it doesn't seem to make sense why he's falling back into the clutches of these guys. He's almost a second slower than his best lap, whereas the other guys are as close. So I've just had a little in my ear, a little suggestion that maybe he's not going to make it on fuel, so maybe he's doing a little bit of save. Daly and Vigor going at it. So Daly decides not to go up the inside of Vigor, but forces Vigor deep. Vigor goes very wide. He's parked himself in between tyre bundles and that Tech Pro barrier. So unfortunately, he's lost out to Travis Daly just showing the nose. A little bit of pressure has put him off a little bit. Manages to stay in front of Brett Taylor, though, as we get a replay of what's happened here. Not quite back far enough. We will reload and go again. So you can see that Daly does get up alongside, decides against it, and that just forces Vigor to go as deep as he can, and unfortunately he gets off the rubbered up line. And yeah, unfortunately runs too deep into the corner, understeers out into the dirt, and then into the tyre bundle. So hopefully that hasn't caused too much damage for him. He didn't really hit square on either, so he's falling away from Travis Daly. That gap's now to 12.5 seconds, but he's also got Brett Taylor who's coming down for him as well. So it might be difficult for him to maintain that position. You can see just how banged up that front end is. The whole bonnet has gone missing on that Mustang. A bit of weight reduction there. Hopefully he can make the most of it for the rest of this race. Hanson and Sipple, that gap's down to within less than half a second as well. Just keeping my eye on my little timing screen to see what gaps are becoming yellow or orange or red, showing us how close they are. Can't quite read what that message says on race control. We are green flag to the end. No more safety cars. So I think we've got about just under 5 minutes to go. Close to 4 minutes to go. We will be green to the end. I think we're going to have 3 laps. So we will keep our eyes on what our wonderful flag marshal does. Barney, our flag marshal, always doing a wonderful job in the flag tower across the start finish line. Keep an eye on what he does as we get closer to that final minute. There's that one. So a little pause we had there in the broadcast, if you picked up on it. Place here. If you guys have a suggestion in chat for all you viewers, who would be your driver of the day, please drop it in chat. It's your opportunity to vote for nothing in particular, apart from let us know who your driver of the day is. I have mine, and he's got that gap out to 2.5 seconds now in the lead of the race. He's capitalised from quite a good position, from quite a poor position, he would say, from his qualifying efforts. Had a little error in the top 10 shootout. But I would also like to put Marty Hansen up there as we see the battle going on here for 8th place. Brett Taylor ran a little bit deep. Scott Weston now right on the back. Bradley Wall's invited in as well, so that gap all down to within 0.4 of a second. Weston is putting the nose there. Brett Taylor smart enough not to fall for the same trap as what Rick Vigor did, unfortunately. But I think that move might have just invited Bradley Wall back in onto Scott Weston, so Brett Taylor's mirrors are full off two Mustangs once again. As we saw these 4 cars that you can now see on screen, all were within a battle with each other at one stage. And I think it was Marty Hansen and Troy Sippel was thrown in there as well. So it's all very close between these drivers. They've been not too far apart for the whole race. Oh, Brad fishtailing out of the Degners. Not good for lap time, but good for excitement. So he's losing the rear grip a little bit now as he comes to the end of the race. Trying to hold the rear of the car in check. You can see him just micro corrections. Any opposite lock action from him here through Spoon. Leading some wheel. Not too much opposite lock. Wheel looks nice and straight, but as we jump to the front here, white flag is in the air. Scott Weston looking for the move. He's going to get a little bit of overlap. Is he going to send it as far as he can? No. Let's pull out of it. Oh! Side by side up to the Casio triangle. I'm sure that noise was very funny for everyone else in the commentary box. Oh! Weston. Oh no, there's contact. I said it was going to be a drama point for this race. Bradley Wall is going to capitalise. But unfortunately, Scott Weston has been all 4 wheels off the track, it looked like on my end. And unfortunately made contact right at the apex with Brett Taylor. Jumped to a replay. Weston goes very deep, locks the rears. You can see that puff of smoke. Yep, all 4 wheels were definitely outside the painted line. For the corner, Taylor doesn't give him much space at all, and sort of that's where contact happens. Credit to Weston, he did slow down and let Brett go past, but unfortunately Brett lost the spot to Bradley Wall in front. As we jump now, we'll let race control decide on that one, but as we jump to the man who has gained 8 places, had a poor top 10 shootout by his standards, opening up that gap. It's now 3 seconds as he comes up to the last braking zone at the Casio Triangle. Sturged his way through the field, made 4 spots on lap 1 itself. Tim Nicol is returning to victory lane. He wins round 5 at Suzuka. Andrew Cowan, our pole sitter, comes home P2. Joe Mahoney comes home in P3, some 7 seconds behind Andrew Cowan, but well done to Joe. He's on the podium. Marty Hansen, after incredible top 10 shootout performance, getting himself into the top 10 with a clutch lap at the end. He comes home P5. Travis Daly comes home in... Troy Sippel comes home in P6, my apologies. Travis Daly comes home in 6th. I might have got my tongues tied all there, but Sippel in 5th, Daly in 6th. Vigor holds on to 7th. I think he might have got a little bit lucky by what happened by the 3 cars behind him. Bradley Wall and the Green-Eyed Monster comes home for SRW Motorsport in P9. So P8, Brett Taylor in P9. Scott Weston in P10. Mark Peck in P11. Quite achiever there for the Peckies. Is he the namesake car? I think he might be. But he comes home in P11. Callan Hodgkinson in P12. Scott Perrins will come across the line in a little while. There he is. Is that him? Yes, it is in P13. Pedar Pavlovich, he's coming through the Casio Triangle now. What could have been for Pedar, I'm sure he'll be frustrated by what happened on lap 1, but does get himself into 14th spot in the end. Just waiting on Steven Singovic, who's coming across the line now. He comes home in 15th. And then our final finisher, Bradley Clayton, for Performance Sim Racing, comes home in P16. Well done to all drivers tonight. All of the race was done under green flag. Tim Nicol, though, mate, well done. Drive it to the grid. Give us your best victory burnouts you can. That was an incredible effort. See, as he starts to drift it around the last corner. Pulls up to the grid here.
I see a lot of the chat is voting for Tim for driver of the day. I do believe he is very deserving. He did take the race win. I would like to nominate Marty Hansen for a solid work in the qualifying to just pip out 10th spot and make his way into the top 10, and then with a phenomenal finish through into the 4th place. So we've got to make a vote here, guys. Tim or Marty?
I'm for Marty.
Yeah.
Personally.
That's
I think
my
Marty's
choice.
job to get himself into the top 10, and then with that great lap in the top 10, which put him into 5th place, and then to hold that position, I think that is credit to him for just a great performance overall. Who are we waiting on?
Joe Mahoney.
Joe Mahoney. Here he is. As we speak. Pulls himself into onto the pitch straight here. Effectively called victory lane in SLW. And it is Tim Nicol's turn to light up the rear tyres, hit some rev lights, show us what he can do. Look at the tip in there on that burnout. That was special, to say the least. So he's doing a good thing for some photos, though. I'll tell you what, right under the Suzuka sign, in the right spot there. I'm sure our media crew will love to see that, especially that one where he tails back towards us. I'm very, very impressed.
Give me some photos, ain't you, Preach?
If you send me the replay, I will. Well done, lads. That was a great night of racing, to say the least.
All right, get the final results up. Guys, thank you for joining us for the simrigs.com V8 Supercars. I hope you've enjoyed Preach here having a crack at it on his own and leading the stream. I know I've enjoyed sitting back behind the scenes again. If you have enjoyed the stream, don't forget to hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, make sure you do subscribe. And as always, thank you guys for joining us. And the results are official. And there it is for your simrigs.com V8 Supercars Amateur. Round 4 here at Suzuka, thanks to Warren and Brown Tools. Tim Nichols is your winner tonight. Andrew Cowan in 2nd, and Joe Mahoney will take out 3rd place. We'll be waiting for the drivers to come through into the green room to get them in for their interviews. While we wait, Thomas, well done, mate. How'd you enjoy it tonight?
That was a lot of fun. That was something a bit different, having someone speaking in my ear.
You like my
whilst you were
sweet whispers,
doing a lot
don't
of
you?
broadcast work, but I think it's actually not too bad. I think we could even have someone else in the commentary box, if you know what I mean.
I can turn my mic on if you ever need a break. I don't
That's
mind.
okay. I enjoyed it. It was good fun.
Well, I wanted to give you a shot at seeing what it's like to have a producer in your ear rather than having a producer commentating with you. So
I liked it. Thank you very much
Yeah,
for giving me that
everybody
experience.
loves when I whisper in their ear.
Yes. Hopefully, if you are in chat and you enjoyed it, please let me know. I am sick of the sound of my own voice at times, so I would like to know that you guys are also not sick of it. So please please give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down in chat. I will take thumbs down from some people lightly. Some people will take more heavily. That's just the way life is sometimes.
I want to see a bunch
AKA
of thumbs downs in the chat.
Yeah, thanks.
All right,
I hear you typing in the background.
Just spamming them. No, just getting
All right,
ready
let's
for
get our
our
podium in here.
interviews. Yes.
Let's get our podium in here. Let's start with P3. Let's let him go to bed nice and early. Joe, mate, well done. Tell us how you're feeling physically, first of all, and then we'll jump into the race itself.
I'm wrecked. I'm as wrecked as my rear tyres. But I'm just happy that's over, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just saying to ShiBBy, we'll get you in here so we can let you get to bed and get some recovery as best you can. You dropped the spot of the race start, but you charged your way through. A couple little mistakes here and there, but that battle between the guys in front really invited you back in. It was sort of like half a lap of, oh shit, I'm going to be too far behind, and then all of a sudden you're right back on the back of them, and it was good, clean racing from everyone. What do you think looking at the guys in front? Were they going at it?
It was good to watch. I thought a couple of times I might have had a moment where they might have come together, but those two have got that much skill and experience that they got through there unscathed, even though Nickel ran that bit wide. Even if I caught at the back of them, I was not in a mood to even fire a shot at them, to be honest. I was quite happy just to sit in and get to the finish. Yeah, this is only the second time I've spoken to you guys after a race this season, so I'm pretty happy with that, considering how I am feeling.
No, that's good, mate. Yeah, it feels like it's been a little while since we've spoken to you on the podium, but well done, mate. I will give you the opportunity to thank your sponsors if you'd like.
Yeah, thank you. So JT IT Consultants, Analytical, BE Electrical. We've also got Gutter Night, Selby Acoustics, Gamesman, and Pagnian Simulation as well. So thank you to all of them, and thank you to the Race on Oz team. Apart from last weekend with the Scops round on, I haven't had a lot to do with them, so I've kind of been on my own here at SRW. I've been trying to get one of them to come across and help me out, but it's the help they give's been massive to getting me to where I am now, and yeah, just looking to build on that. So thank you to all of them, and thank you to you guys for the broadcast and putting this on.
No worries at all, mate. We know each other from Race on Oz. I think we've commentated together in the past, but
yeah, that's right.
Is Race on Oz still doing their ACC thing on Monday nights?
They are. They've just had their recent season finish up. I was doing some broadcasting and bits and pieces over there, but I've left that to other people to concentrate on some of my own racing. And it's been really enjoyable so far. A few more results would be good. I think I've been bridesmaiding qualifying 4 of the 5 rounds. I just haven't been able to nail that lap, but it'll come. I haven't got a win yet. That's the other thing. So it's plenty to play for. Looking forward to it.
Well, we are off to where are we off to next week? We are off to Coda next week on the full GP layout. Another long track to go along with the long road series. Have you done much racing at Coda in the supercars, or is it going to be all foreign and something new?
Every track we go to is completely foreign to me. I've got to buy Coda. That's how green it's going to be for me. So, yeah, it'll be an interesting one. Again, I think it might just be a case of getting to the finish with a decent result.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a few similarities between Suzuka and Coda, especially through the S's in the first part of the lap and tight hairpin and some wide open straights. So hopefully you can take some learnings from tonight and send them over to Coda and see how you go, mate. I'll be very keen to see how you go next week. So well done tonight on getting the podium, second time in the season. Hopefully that win isn't too far away.
Cheers, boys. I'll catch you later on.
Catch up. Go have a rest, mate. Alrighty. Grab Cowie now. Get him into the commentary booth. Hear his thoughts on the race.
Oh, I see you, Joe.
Oh,
See you, mate.
hello. I've dragged you in early.
Saying he was going, so I was saying see ya.
yeah, he was a bit tired, I think. Cowie, mate. P2 just couldn't hold on to the back of Tim. He was coming very fast, but you had a good pace yourself, mate. Give us your thoughts.
Yeah, look, it was Tim's night. I mean, he butchered the shootout, but he was the quickest all night. I was surprised that I got down into the twos for quali. I was pretty stoked with that. But yeah, during the race, I think Joe was just sitting in behind me there for a while because a couple of times I thought he was close enough to have a little sneak peek and he didn't even bother. And then when Tim got up onto the back of him, I tried to push hard and see if I could get a bit of a gap while they were battling, but by then, you know, your mid-stint and the tyres were already struggling. Around here, you slip and slide in the rear a bit and, you know, it can be, you know, hard to really push hard.
Give us an insight, mate. Were you changing the bars much at all throughout the race to try and extend some tyre life, look after the tyres a bit more, change the balance of the car throughout a fuel load? Was there much changing going on?
Yeah, look, there was a fair bit. I think in both of the first two stints, I think I softened the front by one click about 4 or 5 laps in just to get it to turn in a bit better, and then, you know, I was sort of softening the rear once it was starting to step out. So it was sort of a bit of reaction. I think I moved the front maybe two clicks and the rear 2 or 3, I think, by the end in most of those stints. The bias, I only had to move it forward, I think, once. It's sort of one of those places where there's no real big, super heavy braking areas, except maybe T1, and even then you're trying to carry speed down into it. So, you know, you can run your vice a bit further back and trail brake. I think that's why I go right here.
Yeah, I suppose the only other spot would be the triangle, but even then it's sort of already been on the front brake a bit for Spoon. So, yeah, it's something we don't talk about much is adjusting the bars or the brake bias in these cars. It's sort of, I've sort of forgotten that that's a thing to do given Gen 3 and whatnot, but
well, I'm hoping they...
Or...
Yeah, I got the Jinx full combo, buddy, with all the roll bars and everything, so I'm hoping Gen 3, they change it. There is talk about them giving the drivers more control, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, they need to bring them back, because otherwise I've got this $2,000 kit. I have to keep driving Super 2s.
Yeah, Super 2s and Super 3s, mate. They'll be there for a long time to come, I'm sure. Yeah, look, mate, it was a great qualifying effort from you, and then you just couldn't match Tim's pace. You were saying that he was a bit too quick for you.
Yeah, I thought about saying something on the radio, but Tyson said he went through the rule book because the redress was, you know, Tim was, you know, was within the rules, maybe just, I think, but.
Yeah, I was about to ask about that moment at the at 130R, and it looked a little bit wild.
Well, the first one, you know, he ran wide and got the spot, and the race control told him to redress. So when we come back there the next lap, he let me try and go around the outside, and then he stayed there. So I ended up having to run wide, but race control deemed that was a redress. So, look, I sort of said to Tim in the end, I said, you probably didn't even need to do that, man, because you had the pace on me. But, you know, it was good fun. It was a good race. We had a bit of a laugh about it at the end anyway, so...
That's what it's all about, mate. This is just a sim, and there's some hard racing, but it can be for sheep stations at times. But
I'm just glad I haven't got punted, mate. I've had a bit of a horror run the last few weeks, and it was good to get clear of the boys and drive my own race for a change.
Yeah, I think back to lap 1 in the sprint race at Daytona, and that was a bit of a race to forget for you.
I'm not blaming any of the boys because we're all pushing hard and trying to race fair, so it's no one's fault. But sometimes you get the rub of the draw the wrong way. It just happens.
Yeah, it's also a banked track which supercars haven't raced on in real life for quite a while, and a banked starting grid, and everyone's getting a bit taily anyway. I suppose it's just how it is sometimes.
Yes.
I will give you an opportunity to thank your sponsors, Cowie.
Oh, well, thanks very much to you boys, SRW team. I love watching the broadcast backs when I do good. Don't watch them when I do shit house. So, I haven't seen the last few weeks. Awesome. Good work from the Performance Sim Racing boys too. I know Brad had a bit of a night to forget, and he didn't get a safety car to get him back on the lead lap, so he's a bit down in the dumps. And Trav was going all right for a while there, and then made a mistake or two, he said. So, but they're going all right. And our big sponsors are Toyo Sims, our main sponsor. So if you're looking for a deal on the Camus Direct Drive wheel, use our combo PSR 5 off. Also West End Motor Group, Too Easy Finance, Track Racer, Night Rider Designs for the paint, my own music, cowiemusic.com, my own business, I should say. If you're up in Brisbane looking for a solo duo trio, give me a buzz. And hashtag talk to me bro for all those boys. If you need to, have a chat to someone, there are people out there that are willing to listen, and, we thank them for it.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. A worthy cause, that. And your music business, I just want to delve in that just for a quick second. What sort of gigs do you do? Pub gigs, weddings, parties, all that sort of thing?
So I'm a solo covers artist, so I'm your guy that rocks up at the party with the guitar, in the case, and just wait for people to ask me to bring it out before I bring it out. Just guitar, vocals, stomp for my solo show, and I've got a duo going with Dave, a drummer, and sort of doing harmonies and that, and that's really sort of starting to take off. So I'm probably doing more duo gigs at the moment, and also do a trio with my mate Simon, but he's been pretty busy and has been going up to management in his job, so it's a bit harder for him to get out there and play. So it's pretty much the duo and the solo occasionally at the moment, but it's going good, man. And we got Paddo Tavern coming up this Friday night, and back out at Ipswich on Saturday night, so it's going to be good fun.
Well, all those people who are in the greater Brisbane area, you know where to go. I'm sure you know where the Paddo Tavern is, and definitely Ipswich. Get out there, say hello to Cowie, let him know you Thomas Riley sent you, and that'll be all you need to know. And
look out for 2A Active is our duo, so...
Go follow them on Facebook as well. You can find them at 2A Active on Facebook.
That's it, mate. Thanks, boys.
No worries, mate. Good luck coming up to Coda next week, and break a leg at your gig.
Thanks, man.
Alrighty. We will get Tim into the room, our race winner. Hello, Tim. Give us your thoughts, mate. Well done. Good race. You capitalised on that error in the shootout with great effect.
Yeah, thanks, guys. It was. I knew it was going to be tough starting in 9th. Those boys are never slow. But I think I did pump the tyres up, so it may have been the call at the end that kept the consistency going to pull through to the end. But as you would have seen, there was a little bit of a hiccup on my behalf, making an overtake.
Yeah, it was ballsy, but that's exactly what we like, and it was he gave each other just enough space. Cowie was saying that the redress was just a redress in terms of the rules. So I'm going to leave that there because he's got it against you. But mate, what happened at the start with the cars in front? Managed to get you 4 places, and that really set up your race. Managed to let you race forward with less cars in front. And give us your thoughts on what happened at the start. What did you see in terms of Pedar and I think it was I can't remember who it was, got together at the start, and I think it was Weston involved. Off the start line.
Yeah, no, I just for my iRacing starts now, it's just just try and get through lap 1. So I just stayed as far to the left as possible, which is never an ideal place on turn 1 on the first lap of a race. But my teammate Troy Sipple was part of that incident, and all I could hear him on Discord was, "Holy bleeping." And I said, "Oh, who was it?" And it was Pavlich, and I was like, "Oh, you two have a love relationship, don't you?" And I just zoned in and focused in, because Cowie really made a really quick getaway at the start, so I knew I had to sort of knuckle down and get it. But I did hear 2 cars come screeching towards me, and I was like, I'm either going to make it through or I'm in the gravel. But luckily, no incidents there.
I've just got the replay on screen now. I can see you in the ZB for Pecky's, Quantum Pecky's Performance Racing. I can see you. Yep, you've stayed hard left. You've seen Bradley Wall and Petar Pavlovich come together across Sipple's nose. And then, how close are you to getting hit? Oh, you got a full car length before you get whacked. Yeah, no, you got heaps of space, mate. You're all good.
Yeah, but no, it was good. I knew I had to try something ballsy to get past Cowie, and that outside move on the last couple of turns. And I knew straight away, similar to Daytona with the yellow line rule, if you overtake underneath the yellow, you'll be copping a penalty. And I was like, oh well, you risk it. I knew straight away when race control called it, I didn't complain. I thought it was a very fair consideration, but I was like, if he's going to push me wide, I ain't letting him get this one easy. So it was a bit of a setup. We had a chat about it. He thought it was a bit of a laugh. So yeah,
that's all good, mate. That's fair racing. Well done. I'll let you have the mic for a bit to thank your sponsors.
Cheers, guys. Obviously, not my sponsor, but SRW, who host this race control, you guys who do the broadcast, a big thanks. That looks like the league's building, which is great for a Tuesday. And I'd just like to say thanks to, obviously, the team that I drive with, which is Quantum Pecky Performance Racing, Troy and Mark. Obviously, as always, my wife for letting me do this, and the other lads in the team, and obviously the podium getters for this race. No, it was awesome. Thank you, everyone. Really enjoy it.
I think you're the first person I've heard to thank your wife for letting you do it, and that's something we have to consider, is that the families that let us all go sim racing probably more than once a week, sit in front of a computer and talk to people in other parts of the country, other parts of the world.
I kicked my son. Yeah, I kicked my son off Fortnite so I can sim race. So yes.
So everyone has given something up in the family, I suppose.
Yes.
Now, well done, mates. Looking ahead to Coda, have you done any racing at Coda? I know the Supercars had their officials there a couple of weeks ago on the West layout, though, so you probably haven't done the back end of the S's and the
done a little bit
at the end of the back.
Yeah, done a little bit. Did the West in the last sort of series race that we did with V8 Vets. The full circuit. Yeah, we'll see how we go. It's an interesting track. It's a lot of off camber, so there's a lot of front end push. So it's one of those tracks you're either quick at or you're terribly slow at. So we'll see how we go. See how the boys go up. But yeah, it's not one of my favourites. Big braking right at the end of that front straight. It's challenging. It's a good overtake track.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be spicy racing, to say the least. I'm very much looking forward to cars running up the hill into turn 1, and then also the slipstream benefit down the back straight, long back straight too. So yes, very much looking forward to it. Well done tonight, mate. You are our round 5 winner of the Sim Racing World simrigs.com V8 Supercars Am series. Well done. Are you jumping in on Sunday night too?
Sunday night's a bit tricky for me. I run another league, so I haven't committed to it. But the lads, so as you would know, Chris Funky Miller has left us and gone to Fishies Motorsports, which is a bit disappointing. But maybe I need to go there and shake him up a bit.
yeah, a bit of friendly rivalry won't go astray. So hopefully we can see you on Sunday nights too, because I'm sure you'll give the guys at the front a red hot run for their money. So well done tonight, mate. Good luck with your practice moving forward to Coda, and we'll see you next week.
Cheers, guys. Much appreciated. Have a good one.
You too, mate. And that was that, ShiBBy. What a night of racing. It was having you in my ear when we're going through lots of battles and just going, oh, they're really close, really close. Really made it exciting, because I probably wouldn't have looked at those other battles that were going on. It was sort of like we had three consistent battles throughout the whole race. So it was a lovely race, wasn't it, mate?
It was definitely a bit less chaotic than last week. As I said to you at the end of last week's race, I would have really loved to be the little voice in your ear during that race, because it would have been much easier to keep on top of all the battles going on. But yeah, definitely some great battles tonight. The V8 Supercars Am series never ever disappoints, and is getting better and better every season, mate. So definitely look forwards to next week. I'm actually on all the broadcasts this week, filling in for Hamish, so you'll probably hear my voice a little bit more. Tomorrow night's broadcast is actually going to be delayed, as due to futsal. I play a very serious league of futsal, so I can't do tomorrow night. So tomorrow's night's broadcast will be delayed. We will update details about that in the coming days. And then I will be back Thursday for your GR86. And then Friday for the GT3 Mini Enduros. And as well for Sunday for the simrigs.com V8 Supercars Pro-Am series. So a lot happening this week for me, mate. But well done tonight. It was a great call. Great racing. And thanks to simrigs.com for getting on board and helping us with the V8 Supercars. Thanks for Warren & Brown Tools for being our round sponsor for tonight. And of course, we can't forget Toyo Sim, Racecraft, Tempting Sweets, and
Dragon RC.
Dragon RC. No, there's one more too. And the home of the V8 coffee table,
Grim Industries.
Grim Industries. Yeah, huge thank you. And of course, if anybody is still watching the broadcast at this point, we say a huge thank you to all of you for joining us tonight. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Leave those likes, subscribe if you're not. Make sure to share us with all your friends and family, because we are giving away a Racecraft sim rig and seat when we hit 1,000 followers, mate. Yeah, should be good. But we will end this stream by saying stay safe and drive hard.
Drive hard or race hard?
Race hard? Yeah, it is.
Drive hard. Race hard.
Stay safe, race hard, not drive hard.
Do either of those.
No,
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Catch you next time.